Hello, everybody. Okay,
Hello.
big day.
It is a big day indeed.
Big day. Yes. Yeah, Pale Beyond's out.
Sure is.
Madness.
Sure is. This has been one hell of a week. As you can tell, I've lost all of my hair and also destroyed the background behind me. So, no, this is an intentional change, believe it or not, on both fronts. But yeah, look at all this space. There's stuff behind me.
Shockingly.
You can even see my hoodie now. I have place to put things. It's incredible.
We never even needed it.
Yeah.
As it turns out. Why did we keep it for so long? Big questions.
Yeah, well, I actually remember why. That's because our earlier audio setups were so scuffed using those shotgun mics that we needed the audio balancing.
We ran this off shotgun mics.
Tried to. We tried to.
That was
yes.
daft.
Yes.
Yeah, so, place is looking better.
Yep.
Game's out, really. Good times.
RGS Pseudo says, no, Matt, what the fuck did you do? I'll tell you what I did. This is called economics, because haircuts are expensive, right? If you get your haircut a lot, you get less of it. Sorted. Actually, unironically, not kind of a rope. Yep, you're correct. I'm very silly, I apologize. There we go. Yes, there was a step I forgot, which was to turn down the Chill Beats to Freeze 2, Volume 3.
Yes, they were overpowering beats
Yes.
to be hurt by.
Yes, sorry, not Volume 3, Version 3. But yes, there we go.
There we go. Fixed.
It must have swapped track, and then that's why it kicked in very loud, because it's not the most normalized track overall, because James wouldn't dare do that to his own creation. Rightfully so.
Indeed. So there is actually plenty to talk about.
There sure is.
There's Pale Beyond stuff because the games went live today, and that's quite the experience.
I mean, has it really changed that much, to be honest?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just
It's
everything.
nice. We have, our reviews are actually very positive, which is great.
They are.
Even with the review copies having bugs, so that's pretty sweet.
Yep.
We have since got an updated version of the game. That is what is on Steam now.
Indeed.
But
More to come
that
to.
stuff's going well. Sales are so far good, and we'll see what we can talk about later with all that. But yeah, no man, it's happy days.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's very interesting, because I think I was talking to this, I can't remember who to, but someone, I think it might have been Connor yesterday, but just the idea of everyone has so much on this like one psychological moment. They put so much weight on like something that's not very physical. Like almost like a mental equivalent of like the Berlin Wall collapsing in severity for the individual.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah,
obviously
I see
that's got the physical element of, oh, it's happened. But in this case, it's just someone pressed the button. You go, oh yeah, nothing's really materially different now. We just have to wait and see the outcome. And that's been like, that's kind of thing's been there.
Oh,
frame
we
drops.
just got
Yeah,
our
we do
blue
frame
tick.
drops.
We just got our blue tick in Steam.
Yeah, I will try to address those frame drops in some capacity.
Oh
I
dear.
have no idea what they could be. We do have game team in the other room working and doing uploady things potentially
Are
at
they
times. Could be potentially. Could be stuffing there, but yes, we'll see.
Well, the good news is we now have a positive review in Steam.
Yep.
There is one negative review, which was because of a issue with saves. Essentially, the game save system, a little bit of a chink in the armor is in the prologue, because there isn't really a need to save in the prologue for like mechanical reasons, but for convenience reasons, that really should be there. Thomas is working on patching that in actually right now. But it's actually pretty good if your one negative review does start with first hour of play is good. So All right, even our negatives are positive, and we will get that issue solved as soon as possible. It should be in as a part of build 1.2.1, I believe. But yeah, overall then, we're happy. Our sales right now, they're, I think, like under 5K, but like broadly speaking with where, our publishers kind of like targets are, they're good. So we're definitely happy about that. Right now, we're 90% positive on Steam. Going to Metacritic? What are we in Metacritic? So we've got 3 80s and a 90, two 80s and a 90 in Metacritic, which is great. We just need Metacritic to add one more, and then we get a Metascore. And I think at OpenCritic we're in 80, with I think a 90, an 80, and a 70 review. So
very good.
We are happy about that. So what we're doing is we are tweaking up the save system. I think instead of being weekly to... Essentially, there are very frustrating technical reasons behind that, but Thomas is working on it. The way things work in the save system, though, is you have... essentially, it's like a branching narrative tree as you make different decisions. If you want to go back a week, you can basically kind of go back down the tree to like load up an earlier week if you wanted to like actually change the direction that you're going on. So we'll have a little bit more with that, and actually maybe just add like an FAQ box or something within the game. But that's all stuff that can be patched in pretty damn quick, which is good. I think the bit we're the most happy about, though, is that the actual core gameplay, game, etc., that has actually been what's resonated.
Yeah,
just
that's...
like, oh my god.
That's exactly what you need, I think. You just need to make sure it does enough. Because you can't do everything, especially when you're in an indie budget. You can't go, okay, well, what do we prioritize? Do we prioritize people feeling really goddamn good about the experience? And if you can do that, then I think you win. And that was largely the plan. And it's worked. But the one thing is, we've historically only ever really released YouTube videos. And there's something interesting about YouTube videos that I think is fairly obvious. You can't really do anything about it once it's out. It's out in the wild and you go, oh, I guess that's it. What do you do? You can trim stuff with the YouTube editor. You can, back in the day, you could add annotations on top, and then they killed that. But with the game, you can patch it. And I know that, well, if you would ask some people, you would say the ability to patch video games killed them, because now everyone's lazy and release garbage and then early access and all that stuff. And there's likely an element of truth in that. But if you're a, how do I describe it? An ethical dev, you'll use patches for good, which is to improve your game and make it better.
Yeah, we're talking about Thomas.
Yes, which is largely the plan. Yes, imagine live patching some of our videos, LMAO. Yeah, John, we definitely would. We definitely would need to do that, though less so usually. And no Sam, we've not gone to Azshara yet. That's the other thing. We're going to talk about Pale today, but we're going to reasonably quickly get into actually basically our usual stream fare with World of Warcraft, which is Azshara's coming back. It's been a complete nightmare with... Okay, maybe nightmare's not the term. It's been frustrating every time we've released a lore video or talked about lore stuff, and then we go, the PTR just updated with something that changes everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of actually does literally change a lot of things all the time. And this is another one where, Azshara's coming back. They made that in the most obvious way clear, pulling back all the old god, the Il'gynoth lines, and recontextualizing the game with different 5 torches, stuff like that. And yeah, Shane did the Bane storyline's been spoiled in Wohead today. I think I'd like to talk about that slightly, but only without spoiling anything, only in the grander schemes. Not an old god expansion, by the way. Exactly. Not one yet.
It sure seems we are getting rather old godish.
I think that's it.
Which, could be fine. It's the sort of thing, they could do it well now, but it's purely just the way that they screwed that up with Battle for Azeroth. That's the actual problem.
Yes.
For sure. Old gods being woven in is totally cool and fine. Look at Wrath of the Lich King. Even. It's just flat out fucking BFA, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's some of... Yeah, I guess that's exactly it. BFA was, hey, this became an old god expansion suddenly. And I was like, hey, it was an old god expansion the whole time. And everyone's like, no, it wasn't that. No, it didn't feel like that at all. That sucks as far as an idea goes. So I think that's... As long as they don't do a rug pull again, as long as they don't turn and say, and it was the old gods all along. But I think the feedback they've definitely gotten over Shadowlands and BFA is that these things need to be given time. These things need to be presented in a way that actually feels good, that all the build that was done, that you have the like, oh, what's going on here? What's happening? Oh, what's the mystery of the old god? How are they involved? What's the ramifications of what they're doing? Because I think the one thing in BFA was that in 8.2, we didn't really see the ramifications of what N'Zoth was doing at all. It was just Azshara. That was it. And you go, okay, that's fine, etc. But then it happened to 8.3, and then it was like, and suddenly he's here, and now Loth is real, except it's just a raid, and 2 old zones are now purple. And the content in those zones was like kind of okay. A little bit proto Zareth Mortisy in a sense, but they were still actually like... But I just wasn't realized. It wasn't what people wanted. It wasn't what people expected.
Essentially, they poisoned so much of their future stuff. You know, man, it really is crazy when you think about the combined catastrophe, because not only, right, did Blizzard... Well, I guess that's the thing. Let's just say there was a big Void expansion, right?
Yeah.
You were to imagine that Void expansion was to happen, like, after Legion. People would be like, oh my god, Cthulhu, N'Zoth, or Yogg-Saron, holy shit, I can't wait. You know, they'd be so excited, wouldn't they?
Would, yeah, absolutely.
We'd all be thrilled. But now if that happened, people are like, oh, it's another twist in Danuzer's wild ride. Purely because they managed to completely ruin that entire... I don't mean like as if they literally ruined all the lore, but in terms of player perception, right? And how people like feel about that lore, they... You know, it's all just wrapped in with, oh yeah, old gods, last time you did those, the ending was so lame, it basically, you know, torpedoed the side of the ship.
Yeah.
And I guess that was weird. I think that combined with Ian saying, well, you know, look, the bad guy has to die, which was not maybe...
That's not true at all.
That was probably not the most confidence-inspiring statement that could have been made.
Yeah, I think they rarely are that way.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think that's why people are...
Yeah, I mean, that's...
jaded.
Yeah, that's why I think I really like what they've been doing with all of this, because I think there was a line, I think you may have changed a little bit in that last video, the Bellular video, which was that the lore team's job is to have things that exist, have the existing things that exist, existing hanging threads, and recontextualize them to give them greater meaning and context.
Yes.
But that's give them greater meaning, which is to say, you thought this was A, it's actually A plus B. But what they've been doing, a little bit accidentally, I think, maybe they don't quite get it exactly there, or it's just B instead of A. You thought it was A, it's B. Instead of you thought it was A, it's A plus B. And I think that's what they have the chance to do that very right here with how they're building things. It's just they could also do the kind of the same thing. Because I see there's something else mentioned that I thought was very interesting, and it feeds into the same topic, which was... Yeah, it was Donuts saying, unrelated, but I did the Azshara questline last night, and did they say that Malfurion should have died in Legion? And that's a thing where everyone is primed to see, that's not how I remember that, you've changed that. Which isn't really what happened there, that was like metaphorical, but it was a different reading, a different context of what we experienced. We experienced Azshara falling for Xavius' trap, but... they're going now, oh no, that was, Azshara took Malfurion's place in death because he was going to kill Malfurion, but she showed up, so she died instead.
What?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So they narratively use that, and that's another part of people going, oh, hey, what's going on here? This doesn't make an awful lot of sense.
Yeah, it doesn't
Why is that there?
It's like
but
they've
it's shoehorned.
tried to smooth it into making sense, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's completely like shoehorned as the very loose narrative reasoning, and that's the problem that keeps happening. Just what's this? What's happening? I don't understand. Please, can you maybe not stop changing this storyline on me over and over again? And that's where I think they have to be a little careful with how they do this, because that, like, obviously, if this is a dragon expansion that's suddenly boom, it's not a dragon expansion anymore. It's a old god expansion. People won't really. People will feel the same, because it's not the same principle. But people will feel the same way. Yeah. People will feel, I was promised A, you've given me B. What is going on? And I think that's something they have to be a little bit careful with some of this. some of how they build the future stuff. Because I think I can't remember who it was, but someone said there that it feels like this is a hook for a next expansion as opposed to a Dragonflight plotline.
That's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah, that's what you assume. But then there's a little bit of a nuisance with how much plot is actually in Dragonflight. Because all this stuff's happening now, and for now people go, oh, old gods, old gods, old gods. That's what's in the consciousness.
Yeah, they can't do old gods within this expansion.
Yeah,
Like that. Okay, if they do old gods within that expansion, that's really stupid. Like if they do that without fully exploring all of the Dragonflight stuff and the reason why we're in this expansion, it's that like get people in for one thing, fucking gloss over it, and do different shit. Yeah. That like killed BFA. People came in to BFA for a faction war expansion. It completely under-delivered, like just humongously in the faction war, and then just kept on doing, and then this, and then that, and then this, and they're all different things, and you know they're different things, but they're tied together via a plotline that basically nobody really saw within the game. Like sure, we knew it was there and we told people about it, but it wasn't the core game experience that people had.
Yeah, I think that's as much as I enjoy the current where they're putting lore in through all these books. I'm a little bit concerned that it'll fall under the same thing, especially maybe not so much with the future hints and the Avalor and stuff and like the old god things, but a little bit of that's coming in with the books we covered last week that talked about Neltharion as a character, because we talked about this and it's like, oh yeah, well Neltharions maybe use a little bit of compared to the Great Hades, a little bit of I'm the only one who has the courage to do what other people won't for this solemn duty that I must do. The thing I don't want to do, but I have to do it anyway, because if no one does it, we're going to lose and things will be bad. Which then is like the taking the mantle of villain to do what you need to do. But that's like implications from a book, and players might not feel that if they don't put that content actually in the game. In the same way that I often praise Legion for showing people Illidan by in those flashbacks in Black Cold. Where it's like, here's
their story.
Yeah, here are the mistakes that Illidan made, or sorry, the sacrifices that Illidan made in order to actually be, become who he was. Here's how powerful he was, etc., etc. And then that leads in later to whenever says, I am my scars. Cringe line, but in context.
It's cringe, but it works for him.
Yeah, in context, you go, that makes complete sense for Illidan to say, hell yeah, you go for it. You go for it, you big, edgy anime shitlord, go for it. But will they be able to do that again? Will they know that? Not entirely sure.
Yeah. Azshara coming back is it's cringe, but it's Kino.
It's cringe Kino. Exactly. Cringe Kino's a genre.
Azshara coming back is a big thing.
It is.
Okay, is your read, Kerr? I know we haven't probably dove into it, but is your read that it is this expansion?
No.
God, I think it's the next as well.
No, it has to be the next. There's no way, because unless they do something dumb again, because I think the way this is kind of shown up is we have Neltharion in 10.1, because it's Embers on Neltharion. We've found data mining that implies that the patch title might be Embers on Neltharion, or at least that's the campaign title. And then we have the bronze stuff to deal with, and we also have the Primalist to actually sort out ultimately in the end. So that leaves us through most of this expansion in terms of major plot beats, as well as dealing with all the Jardine, dealing with the expedition, and then leading us back in with some form of epilogue kind of thing. Maybe not if they actually literally do that, but just like finding enough room in content for us to do that will be important. So it's like if they just skip a beat, like they did in BFA, like they did in Shadowlands, the 2 expansions that they've made, then you'll go, oh yeah, you're just going to repeat the same mistake. If they do it, and they're not that stupid anymore.
Yeah, I hope. The modern WoW team needs to understand that in spite of doing parts well, the bit that they've messed up is the more than the sum of its parts, especially in the narrative context. Yeah, I'm not sure why they've had this rush to just go like so, fast between plot beats and never really letting anything actually sit and, have time to stew over and develop, right? It was just constant. Here's dessert. But
That's
there's no,
it
wasn't filled out. It wasn't a satisfying meal. We'll see then anyway as we get to the lore. Right, before we jump into the week's news, of course, just for everybody else who's who's on their way in, our game The Pale Beyond has released. It is on Steam right now with a 10% launch discount, bring it down to £15 if you're in the UK. I think $17.99 or something if you are in the USA. So the best way to support us is to get the game on Steam, because that helps the Steam algorithm, and also to leave a review of the game as well. And that is that. And with that said, we'll talk more about game stuff as we, some more numbers come in, stuff like that over time.
Indeed.
But for now, Matt, let's talk about this week in Dragonflight.
All right.
Now, one really good thing here. There is apparently a huge post coming on the inspiration catalyst, on tier sets, and on raid rewards.
This was exciting. Yeah, very exciting. I absolutely love every time they do this. Every time they go, hey, here's a lot of rationale. Because then, and this is basically what I think influenced a lot of Dragonflight and the end of Shadowlands being better, was all of this rationale, and us being able to go, oh, we now know why you're making your decisions instead of assuming.
Yeah.
Because if we assume say it's for A reason, and we say, well, you shouldn't do A, but it's actually B reason, they'll look and go, well, of course we're not going to do A, we're not dumb. But then they'll plow ahead with B. But if they say, okay, it's actually B, then we'll be able to go, not us, we, the community at large, including the community council, including like high-end players, everyone, will be able to go, no, actually. No, we understand your logic, we understand your rationale, but we think from our perspective that's incorrect, and here's why. And there'll be a back and forth. Maybe not even that much a back and forth visibly, but it might just be, can we be the tip of the spear to go, here's the feedback, bang, there's a crack in the rationale's armor, and other developers who agree with us or see our feedback and go, actually, that's a good point, can I don't want to say duke it out internally as if they're fighting, but, come to like some sort of, oh yeah, what is the best path? Can we find it together? Kind of angle. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that, especially as Skarsgård said, it'll probably be very, very long.
Yeah, and Skarsgård's previous posts have been great.
They've been fantastic.
So this is exactly what we want to see. I mean, at the very least, it'll mean that they can see how their rationale makes their players feel.
Yes, exactly.
And I think a lot of the time as designers, it is about how players feel, because that allows a designer to then calibrate what they do. So it's less just, and I know there's always a degree of, not like, look, just listen to your customer, but there's always a degree of like, your customer's going to know what they want, how they feel. Maybe they will have ideas of how to fix it, but maybe those ideas will have, unforeseen consequences, or maybe won't work in the context of a broader picture. But as long as a designer can actually calibrate their like design senses with that feedback, that really helps. So if a lot of people just say, all right, Skarsgård, I disagree with you on this, it makes me feel like this, I'd rather you did that. Yeah. Now, I'd rather you did that to the player, that may seem like the most important thing. To the designer, the most important thing will be, how did their design make the player feel? Exactly. Because at least that way, then they actually get a little bit more insight into the impact of what they did. So I can learn those lessons. So that'll be good. Yeah, covering the Revival Catalyst. I suppose if we were to have any thoughts on the Revival Catalyst, I mean, it was too late. But that's basically the main feedback, right?
Yeah.
I think
otherwise it was fine.
The unlocking of things has been fine. The weekly stuff has been fine. I've been the only person using my armor group, or my tier set token group in raid, so I haven't had to use the Catalyst once.
Yeah.
I used it once for a 2-item level upgrade.
Very good. Fantastic.
Yeah, I got 4-piece almost instantly because there was no other, priest, shaman, rogue?
Priest, shaman, paladin.
Priest, shaman, paladin, yeah. Bit ridiculous. That's good for the rest of our raid.
Definitely.
But yes, so there's that. And I suppose that just meant that the tier acquisition felt too slow for many players.
Definitely was too slow, yeah. 100%.
Also, group loot, I think that didn't end up being a great fit for Pugs and LFR. As people who advocated for group loot or something like that, I mean, our perspective was, we only need this for guild groups. Now, there are implications on the raid loot tables. So, yeah, that's the challenge for them, right? Because maintaining like 2 separate loot tables is a pretty challenging task while still keeping both of them being balanced.
I think the immediate solution that I think of is the possibility of, hey, we've got group loot and we've got our rules that make it work better, but then it doesn't work better. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that. I think it might be worth... well, okay. I know there's pushback on this. Just drop way more loot. Just drop way more loot, I think.
That's certainly one way to solve the
I
problem.
think that's definitely going to be it.
How many
Just
action
drop
RPGs have loot systems that, you know, if the loot system was like 20 or 30% slower, it would feel like total shit.
Yeah.
But just because the game's rewarding, you're like, oh, it's okay, I'm happy. Right? Like, remember Diablo 2? No, sorry, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls versus the 3 launch. You know, both of them had issues, but 2 was just like, fuck it, we'll reward them. So it's an interesting thing. There's also then those very rare items. So for some people, you know, thinking like, oh, great, don't have my Razageth bow.
Yeah, this is
Who knows with that? Because I do think that those actually make it more interesting. But then again, I'm not really playing from that super, super sweaty perspective.
Yeah, I think...
Not using sweaty is a bad thing, by the way. I'm totally down with people being super sweaty when they're playing games. I think it's cool to want to be the very best.
Yeah, I think there's... The issue with that is how much they're tied into core functionality. In that it's like, I can't remember. What was it? Shit. The Razageth bow LFR is a substantial DPS increase over any other mythic ranged weapon. So I think it's like is it 418? I think you can get a bow, or it's either bow or gun, but you get it 418, and the LFR version of Razageth bow is better. And that's just the thing of how do you make a rare item feel special? And I think the answer probably isn't going to be just, you know, through pure throughput. I think the answer has to be something a little bit more akin to which one is it? I can never remember the ring. There's the ring that drops from Eranog that does the fire damage. And then there's the one that drops from Diurna that gives you an absorb shield on dealing fire damage. And then that works with the flaring cowl. Or if you're dealing fire damage anyway, but there's the flaring cowl crafted item that can proc it for you if you have it. And I think that's the kind of thing that feels nice enough, but it doesn't, like, if those are the very rare items that don't massively impact throughput, but instead offer a little bit of utility or a little bit of something else, I think that might make more sense instead of this is the massive DPS increase bow, or this is the massive DPS increase thing. I think you want it for, say... Now, this does have an issue because if the utility is too strong, then it becomes necessary for like mythic raiders and stuff, where they'll feel that way. But that might even be a case of if you turn these loot drops off until the end of the race to world first or something, that might help. That's a little bit weird. But if it's like, hey, here's a speed boost ring. Here's a ring that just makes you go slightly faster for a bit. And that's pretty rare. But it has to feel like, say it's not quite sprint, but you know, every 5 minutes you get a big boost of speed. Or there's a blink ring. Those kind of things that would give you new abilities, new things to play with. That would be different to just, here's more damage, yay! I think that's probably the solution to those very rare items, to be honest. Because a few thousand DPS is not reasonable, yeah.
It's a wee bit much.
Yeah.
I suppose the more that they just have, like... Big slashy dude. Remember how cool the kill video was when he went boom in Antorus? Champion of the Titans, big smashy dude.
Agrimar?
Agrimar, remember Agrimar's sword?
Oh yeah, Tishalak,
or even the scythe, where it's like it doesn't actually have to be giga powerful. To a lot of us, like, if it just looks very cool, like make it a little bit more powerful, enough so that you feel good, but not so much that somebody is running LFR to get that bow.
I still don't have Tishalak. Sad.
So yeah, I should probably do that. Oh yes, and then also BOEs, not as
it
intended,
just broke.
Which that broke, which is unfortunate. Ah dear. So there you go, Skarzard. We love what you do. Thank you very much for it. What you've been doing in these posts represents a return or a move in the direction that so many players have wanted to see. So you're absolutely doing fantastic work for the game and the community and your team.
And also, I have no idea how much Skarzard specifically is involved in, you know, the totality of the items. I know, obviously, tweets about trinkets and item stuff. Some of the stuff in Dragonfly Season 1 has been fantastic. Like, stuff like the Storm Eater's Boon is really cool. I hate using it, but it's very cool. It's the rings, the crafted items, all of those.
Oh, the death. The big death.
The Grave Torch. Yeah, the Grave Torch is insanely good.
It's one of those things, the Grave
so
Torch.
Fun.
You know, you can probably make a laundry list of, like, reasons or problems that the grief torch causes. But do you know what it also causes? Funny moments in a raid where somebody dies and 3 people in the raid group get to go, grief torch!
Yeah.
And then they get to scream as their grief torch cancels.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
some reason. Next then. An insane enchanting exploit happened within the world of Warcraft. I didn't know about this. What the hell could it be?
This was brutal.
Oh, yeah? Right, well. Get ready, folks.
It's funny.
Earlier this week, a major enchanting bug / exploit made the rounds on Reddit, both on r/WoW economy and r/WoW. The OP did not explain how to reproduce this exploit, but they explained that it let people craft guaranteed rank 3 enchants, regardless of inspiration and without having to use any insight or buffs. Suffice to say, that is a little bit of an oops for the economy.
It's really funny. I loved it.
And we can talk about the exploit now that it's been fixed. So, if you had no bag space for a quality 2... oh my god, you can immediately see how this happened.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had no bag space for a quality 2 or below enchant, but you did have space for a quality 3 one, then it would always make a quality 3 because the quality 2 couldn't fit in your bag. So you could even just get one quality 3, completely fill your bag, and just go to town.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh man, that is something. Creating enchanting scrolls has now been temporarily disabled by Blizzard on all live servers. Nate. In the meantime, sell your stock or manually enchant things using the trade UI. Look, man, it's just sometimes game logic goes fucky. Even for our Launch of the Pale Beyond, here's like a really good example. There was a bug that one of the reviewers ran into, right? And I forget the name. I actually don't know if it'd even be professional to say who the name was. It was really helpful, and we really appreciated them saying back, hey, we're trying to review the game, this bug happened. But literally what the bug was, it was one thing being misspelled in one line of code.
Yep.
And it's the sort of thing, it's like, should that have shipped? No, and it's fixed now. But does shit literally just happen? The answer is, yeah, it does when you've got in our case, a game with a 300,000 word script. And of course, all the code and everything. But like, that's just the example of an unintuitive or unexpected thing. Or there's even times where this is the worst type of error, by the way, for the programmers. It's whenever something is working per the code, but it's not having the result that you wanted it to, and you don't quite understand why yet. And that sort of thing happens, and I think this here is a perfect example of something like that happening within a game, and just breaking that part of the economy for a while. Pog.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you could go on to Oribos Exchange, which, by the way, now, I know, I may say Oribos, so you might just kind of go, oh, no, I thought I left. I thought I left the big flashlight in the sky, but no. Oribos Exchange is a fantastic website. It provides you with an auction house-like UI where you can actually see pricing data from the global AH. Or, like from the auction house, like globally and stuff. It is so cool. It's run by the TSM people, isn't it? I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
But regardless, I know a lot of people will have smack to say about TSM and some of its impacts.
Yes, like me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. To me, it automates a bunch of boring grunt work, but I do, at the very least, tremendously...
That's a problem.
At the very least, I will say, it is not their problem, it's Blizzard's problem, if they don't want it to happen in their game. And I think their add-on is tremendously impressive. It's the sort of thing, there's this little bit of me that almost wishes I explored the timeline where I picked up EVE Online and tried to become an industrialist. And I think TSM scratches that itch. Oh, wow, economy. I mean, hey, virtual economies themselves are so fascinating.
Sure are. I hate them all, but that's just because I am perpetually poor in every video game I play.
He's fucking shite. He's shite. He's in over 1 million gold of debt to Dakor. You hear that, internet, everyone? Matt is in over 1 million gold.
There you go.
1 million.
Yeah.
And
Shut up.
hang on. Have you been tracking global inflation rates?
Actually, World of Warcraft gold is uninflating. Thank you.
No, shut up.
Deflating. Sorry.
Based on the prices of a bottle of Coca-Cola in the local shop, you actually owe 2 million gold now, maybe 3. Unlike good old Pepsi Max, God bless, stays roughly the same price. They have one
And
up,
it's
though.
and it's in a 750 milliliter bottle. It's not a 500, which doesn't actually help because who wants to drink 750 milliliters? Like why?
We're not even getting paid for this, like.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I do have a new love.
Oh, you do indeed, right?
I have a new love. And suffice to say, right, I lost 10 pounds. I lost weight very rapidly, because as you do at the start when you're also very overweight. But I lost weight rapidly, and part of the key, now this has since went on about a 1 week hiatus as we've shipped the game. But it's okay, because I'm going to go to the gym with Matt tomorrow, and if there are no free squat racks or weights, he can just pick me up and put me down again.
You're not heavy enough.
Don't dare me. Don't dare me. I will get a big kebab. But no, it is Fanta Lemon.
Club Lemon.
Club Lemon. No, fuck you, Fanta Lemon. Come on, why are you full of sugar? Why are you full of sugar? It's fine. You just have this, destroy your microbiome with the fake stuff, and then have your athletic greens every morning to fix it. And you're left in a perfect state of stasis.
Yeah, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Please mute your Discord.
Ah, yes.
Thank you.
Hang on, how do I... If I just mute my laptop, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Fantastic.
If I ever seem a little distracted, I do have to monitor the Discord for our launch team, which is just us and our publisher, just to see what the crack is. But the good news is now we have 11 reviews on Steam, which should put us at being like 90 or 91% positive, which is really good, because it means whenever people see it, then they'll be like, oh, there's a green. It's not even green, it's blue. There's a blue thumb. They'll be really happy. Okay, next thing then. Oh dear, has recrafting broke?
Yep. I don't think it's broken
howdy.
like widespread. I think it's broken in this specific instance.
I mean, I've got to say, like, for what I would count as my top personal L of the expansion, it is that things have not resulted in all of the, all the professions going great. I really like the core design ideas that Blizzard had. I really, really appreciate the goals that they were shooting for. But just things like how you cannot use a public work order. Right? Like, you really just can't use a public work order because you cannot guarantee the quality.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's really frustrating.
That's frustrating. Yeah. It's frustrating. Kind of kills it as a system, right? Instead, you've got to do it personal and... yeah, anyway. I actually do think the personal crafting orders are a fantastic feature, though.
They're excellent, yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, those are brilliant. And I remember we made a guide about this, and someone was like, crafting orders, don't want to touch them. And I was like, all right, you do you, boss. But they're really good. Anyway, then, so some issues. This has been recorded in multiple different Reddit threads, which, of course, is where everyone gets their news other than Wowhead. Some players have been encountering a major enough issue. So, you want to add a flavor pocket embellishment to your item level 418 ring. Nice for some of us. So, you find a crafter, you agree on a price, submit a recrafting order, you get your item back in the mail. Well, that's actually not what happened to some people. Instead of getting their item level 418 bit with the flavor pocket. What's this flavor pocket?
Is that, I can't remember exactly. Is that the one that gives the...
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a joke.
well-fed is no longer... Is it lasts twice as long and doesn't dispel on death, I think?
Yo.
I think... Is that the flavor pocket or something else? I think that's it.
Oh my god, that's kind of sick.
I think that's it.
Fascinating. Well, instead, imagine if you just got it with random stats at item level 392. I think you'd be pissed.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So that is... that's rough. That's very rough. Here's another Reddit thread where somebody gets it and it's like...
Again, photos of their screen. Why?
Yeah, 415. Well, this way. Yes. Well, it's not really harder to fake, but 415, prismatic socket. 392, no socket.
Big. Huge. Fantastic.
No, this is really bad. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Next one then. What's this? Keys not as shit this week.
Oh yes, shout out to everyone who watched that M Plus affix video.
It was great. I saw a lot of the community, including some of the more up there players, being happy with the video, and a lot of people saying, "Cool, we thought this," and I guess thanks for giving the issue a voice, which I mean for the whole team felt really good.
It sure did.
So, we've got Tyrannical bolstering Volcanic. That's nice. I mean, as a healer, You know, where's my Grievous exploding?
I hate bolstering. So.
How long till Matt makes angry dog noises?
Not very long, to be honest. So I hate bolstering. I hate it so much, just because it's like, hey, what do you enjoy? Speed. What have you got to deal with? A timer. Yeah. Well, what if you were in a group that didn't exactly have the ability to do DPS the same at the same time and kill everything, cleave everything evenly? What if you have a tank who likes to pull aggressively? And what if you have someone who has, say, Touch of Death? Whoops, your mobs have just tripled in health. Cool. Oh. Obviously, now that it has a 30-second duration as opposed to being infinite, like back in the day of the past 3 expansions, this nightmare affix was in and wasn't removed. It's honestly, it is full. What's the term? Full PTSD. PTSD from my time in Legion, more or less. I hate bolstering. It's so counterproductive. It's so anti-fun. And that's what it is. It is an anti-fun mechanic. Like most of them are, believe it or not, as we covered in that video. Hit them. Move it all. I mean, I understand the point.
What we actually are, everyone, is, right, this whole thing is a scam. It's all, none of it's real. What we're actually is we're a fusion energy company.
Ah, like Monster Inc.
And that's why, and that's why Matt's here. Yeah. So everyone's talking about this, like, you know, magnetic containment and stuff. What we're going to do in chat, you're helping us with this. With Affix is we're going to drive Matt so insane that he actually implodes.
I will become the new sun.
And he will, he'll become the new sun. Belfast will be destroyed, thus losing not that much in the process. Yeah. And it'll be the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Fixes. I suppose it's interesting. You know, I saw there was like a TikTok from Tally, and I guess cool that they're doing TikToks now. It's actually something we should probably do as well. You know, that we have younger people in the team now, and they use a TikTok.
Oh, they don't make any sense.
And then we get to feel like old people, even though we're 28, 9.
I feel so old.
Oh, it's terrible. So yes. Anyway, what was my point? Yes. Tally also said that it's one of those things, right? I think it's possible to take Tally's main point and our main point and probably agree with both of them. So is Tally right when he says the main issue is, you know, there's not enough new app fixes, stuff hasn't changed up enough. Yeah, that's actually fair. I think people, you know, they have done Volcanic so much or bolstering so much that they're like, it's the same shit again for 6 years. For 6 years or however long it's been, I've been avoiding these little holes in the ground that turn red. I love it. Right? Like, that's what it's been like for so many people. I think on the other side, though, I think that there could be ones that could have a lot more intrinsic fun and enjoyment, and that could change the texture of a dungeon in a way that is more, hey, you, go get the bag, rather than defend yourself against this new frustration. So I think there is a world where all of these things come together beautifully and synergistically. And of course, in a world where we have positive affixes like we would maybe suggest, I'd say, you know, you would have to tune the dungeon appropriately, right? Or else the whole thing's a cakewalk. But then again, it's Mythic Plus. Scales to infinity and beyond. So who knows? But yes, so that's that. It's nice to see people that are happy. I would wonder what will Blizzard, you know, do if they just see, the affixes are nice. Why are more people playing? Or, you know, oh, hey, look, it isn't Explosive Grievous. There's healers playing.
Wow, what a surprise.
Now, of course, if you happen to be... what's the one where you just master spell everyone? Is it the Absorb Shield one?
No, it's Grievous. You can dispel master spell Grievous. No, Bursting. Sorry. Bursting, yes. Not Grievous. Bursting.
It was so great. I'd just be like, you know, bam. Okay, TLDR, and this is certainly where me and Tally will agree. Oh my god, priests. Oh my god, they're so good. Disc Priest, you're like fucking Frost Shroud. Boom, it's gone. Master spell. Other things, boom, gone. Someone needs heals. Boom, you need damage. Boom. Oh my. Where you could sit there and just like heal as much as a healer and also be like nipping at the toes of our tanks. So I guess watch out, Pop and Tuft. I'll nip your ankles. Yeah. I'm coming for your damage. I'm coming for your parse.
Speaking of gillies, I do have an update on the what's it called? The thing we were just talking about a moment ago. The exploit, the enchant exploits. And also it's technically also related to the Pale Beyond. So this is from someone in our guild who they know who they are, I will not say them. Just noticed I was so distracted by Pale, I forgot I had WoW open to cancel scan my ultra inflated enchants that I need to sell ASAP before the exploit is patched and the price drops again. So consider that a shining endorsement for the game. Live on stream. Thank you very much for that endorsement. Wonderful. They forgot to scam people out of loads of money. It was that good.
I open this club, Lemon, in your honor. So, overall then, that's nice. I'll say, just to quickly touch on Mythic Plus experience, I've actually been enjoying Mythic Plus a lot. For me, you know, especially as a healer, and especially the likes of Jade Serpent, it has challenged me in new ways, and I've grown as a player. And actually, I have really enjoyed Mythic Plus. Yeah. I haven't ground myself into dust. I definitely want to get KSM. I'm just shy of 1700 because basically I had to go completely onto raid logging mode in order to help get the channels in the right state to shit Pale. But yeah, you know, Bog.
Yeah,
Bog. Big happy. Big happy. Now what's this? Season 2 hype. Season 2 is going to be pure chaos, sanguine and or spiteful. On the last... you know what? Anything in the last bridge of Halls of Infusion. Do you imagine quaking in the on Halls of Infusion bridge? Just
yeah, I can imagine it. Yeah.
Great, I've got preemptive fucking depression, dementia, everything.
Yeah, dementia. We've invented a new illness.
A older man with a 5th affix. Camera zoom reduced by 500%.
Yo, that'd be a fun ass affix. And then people would just quit the game finally. Yeah.
I've got to say, like, Nithalrus would be a fun 3-boss dungeon.
Yeah.
Currently, it sucks the dog dick. It is not great. It's too fucking long. I even remember that from me playing M0. It was just so slow and sleepy.
Yeah.
Slow, sleepy, makes me unhappy.
Brackenhide too, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. See, this is exactly where I think you can tell people don't go, oh, Brackenhide with X. People don't say Brackenhide with Y affix. They just go, oh, Jesus, Brackenhide. And that, I think, is reason enough for the idea in our video to be something that they should maybe think about a little bit. Which is, affixes don't really need to be there whenever you're redesigning old dungeons, like Jade Serpent, to bring them up to speed for M+. And when you're designing new dungeons, which are basically chaotic nightmare fests at best. And a chaotic nightmare fest is completely fine. That's wonderful. That's excellent. Just it can't be a chaotic nightmare fest with, you know, additional nightmares thrown in on top. Because then the nightmare overflows and you hate the game. Because Brackenhide would be fine if nothing, you know, if there wasn't the less slapsticky, less fun equivalents of banana peels all over the dungeon. I think if you just went in and went, okay, well, Brackenhide, this is hard, this is annoying, but by God, I'm going to learn it. You'd be able to do that better and be able to understand it and deal with it, if not the fact you're going, I have the perfect it's quaking. I have the perfect bullshit. I have the perfect Grievous. You know, I have the my perfect strat, and then thundering thundering wouldn't happen, but I have the perfect strategy, and now there's a swirly on the ground, and then someone stepped out of the strategy, and now I'm going to throw myself into a different hobby.
Yeah. I think maybe actually the main lesson here is... So look, there's our path, and I think the path that we perhaps suggested of the more complexity, the more positive affixes, that would be a path that would allow the team at Blizzard, I think, to make more RLPs and, you know, those like modern styles of dungeons that are very dense. I think that if they were to go the direction of continuing negative affixes, just as you said, we absolutely need more simple dungeons that then have the mechanics on top of them, and then we need to take a leaf out of what Tally was saying, and we need to shake those affixes up more. I think, though, for me, the challenge is like, I mean, when you dick around with a WoW player's movement, we are going to froth at the teeth.
Yeah, for
like whenever you dick around with a player's control of their character, I mean, that actually...
That's a dangerous thing to do in a game. Dangerous.
Remember when PvP got so CC heavy that people were just like flat out not really engaging in PvP as much. And then whenever PvP kind of got this like pretty hard, fast meta, well, maybe it went too far in one direction, but I think you get my point anyway. Like, loss of control can feel weird. So it's like, what ways can you challenge somebody interestingly? What I would say is like, look, you see with Grievous, give me Grievous. But make it so that if I top somebody up, they get a damage boost for a certain amount of seconds. Or when I top somebody up, I get a burst of mana. And you may say like, oh, well, that'll just, you know, it'll change the texture of my healing. I guess that's the sort of thing that I would think about. You know, you look at Spiteful and it's like, is that a way to challenge you? Yeah. Is it? I mean, at what point did you enjoy going from Horadon to Council in Throne of Thunder, maybe? Is that even the one that I'm thinking of?
Were you thinking of the Sluggy Worm Boys?
Whenever dudes come out of the other dudes and kill you after the dudes are dead.
Yeah, I think that's it,
Yeah. And you know, you turn around like... Sorry, everybody, we've got to deal with Ghost Jim and his friends. Or I think the same thing happened in the Bum Samdi dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, Bum Samdi. Good thing they didn't really use him again. So it's like that stuff that's just annoying. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what is an affix that gives you a new challenge? And I suppose what I think of is like, there's all these ways that we kind of dick the player. Well, is there a way to maybe make the mobs feel different? You know, could we put affixes that maybe impact the mobs like a little bit more than things like, you know, Explosive, which just ends up being annoying, or the Spiteful, which just ends up being annoying, or whatever. Like, is there something they could do there? I'm not exactly sure, but, you know, it's food for thought.
Ooh, tasty.
So now that we've had our thinking food.
Delicious.
Oh, dear. Alismer's had enough. What's happened?
Yeah.
Overhaul affixes. Make only one affix, weekly affix active. Remove with anti-synergy like Quaking Thundering.
Yep.
Fix toxic affix lineups. Delete or nerf Fort Turan. Stop making affixes heavily burdened tanks and healers. Yes. I don't care which of these happens, but please, something needs to happen. And hey, community's getting behind. I don't know if I can go another full expansion of this affix system. We are long past overdue for a major overhaul. We'll probably have to wait to the next expansion, but for now we just need a band-aid. Yeah, dude, I agree with you. This would remove... I mean, even just getting rid of the worst, most toxic lineups.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I think that lots of video games need to be careful of, which is maybe to make things substantially better, all you have to do is take the bottom 5 or 10% away of pinpoints. Take those away and you're fine. It's like, why is this, like, what is pushing people from dealing with this? Because obviously you don't want people to have negative feelings at all. You don't want people to have to like suck up your game and go, well, I guess, you know, get the fucking hat back on my, what do you call like a mining helmet on, and you go back in with my mask on into the mines. You want people to be like, I'm going to go and have fun today. But, you know, if you can't do that immediately because it takes time, the thing you could at least do is give them the canary so they're not going to die in there. Or, you know, at least give them a break so they can come out every once in a while. Just something to take the edge off. Even if that has to be, right, you're way into the mines, there's a bottle of whiskey to help you out. You know.
Good. Matt, I was honestly getting deeply concerned that you weren't going to turn it into a food analogy. I'm going to allow it.
I'm going to say calling whiskey food is definitely, has been true for both of us, and that's not
Yes. Right. In my younger days, I fast worked out that you can hit all your daily macros with a single bottle of Bushmills whiskey.
Yeah.
Which would have, I think, about like 1,800 calories.
Only if your macros are very bad and wrong.
The whiskey diet.
Yeah.
I mean, ethanol's just fat and carbs, no protein.
It's just
I'm on the whiskey bulk diet, brother.
Ethanol is just sugar a bit.
Just knack a 10 glass of whiskey, go in, lift some heavy weights. I don't think that would work.
It would work for a very short period of time.
Yes.
And then you wouldn't work.
This is something, I don't know what it's like over in America, but so Queen's University Belfast, this is one thing that happens in the UK. There's a sort of drinking league tables of what universities are the most alcoholic.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, I think we did take pride in Queen's University's place on those alcoholic tables.
You.
So, you! There we go.
Get on it. No, it's okay.
Yes, you see, it's a sort of a thing about being from here. You have to go, you! Or, sound like this very horrible, painful thing that you do to your throat. We're a great country. We're very functional. Very functional. So, thanks. We started talking about Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
And where do we end? Making funny noises talking about whiskey.
Is how it is.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So, you want to get fishy? Get your flippers out for the lads because it is the Song of the Depths.
Yeah. Lore time. Wee!
Woo!
I love lore.
Okay, here she is.
Keith, I don't even drink very much.
This is Blizzard's new character, Hard Mummy, coming into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Azshara calls from beyond the Umbral Veil.
Does she now?
She does. I'd pick up that phone.
And Connell, the clip begins here.
Very good.
Just get professional, put the tie on. The last remaining new in-game lore book coming in 10.07 has finally been discovered, folks, with a ton of new hints and teases for what is to come. Both in the immediate patches and also upcoming expansions. And of course, nobody will understand the what is to come joke. But hey, if you do, you do. And that means you're pretty cool. So we got the Song of the Depths, a chilling missive written from the deep, found here near Storm Sunder Crater, where we find a bunch of Nagas, right? That's where the Naga come. And do Naga things, because the Naga are indeed still... they're still going, so I suppose time for the voice. Rise, rise, our queen calls to us from beyond the Umbral Veil. She has transcended the circle of stars and basks in her eternal grandeur.
She's ascended, very good.
That's it, she has ascended the same into the Denuserian plane. The time we have long awaited is nigh. Fucking hell. Everyone in World of Warcraft is being edged all the time. They're almost it's always just about to come. You know? How? I mean, it's like every single expansion, everyone's like, the time I've waited for has finally came. God, I suppose it must be like, those people are predicting the end of the world and they always have to bump the date back a few months whenever it doesn't happen.
It's like the Devil May Cry song. That the time has come and so have I.
Is that really?
Yeah, it is literally seriously a lyric. It's
okay.
Was it the time has come and so have I? Is it the last laugh as you came to die? The damage done as the pain subsides. I could see it, something clear, the fear in your eye, I think. Yeah. Very good song. Very good song.
Big Kino. Big Kino. Right. Even now, the Harbinger gathers the children of the first flesh to reclaim what was lost. They must remember their vows and serve those whom they owe fealty. Is that the shoe hello? Is that the... anyway.
Maybe.
Who is the first flesh? We will talk... Why, Matt, I think we may just answer that soon. While they toil in the deep places... Oh, deep places. That's a specific old god line. We will journey to the shores of Dragonlands. Where are the Dragonlands? Not the Dragonlands. World of Warcraft Dragonlands.
Fantastic.
There you go. You've had the Shadowlands. Now it's time for the Dragonlands. To the Blessed Isle, where the World Breaker first embraced the Whispers. Of course, that would be Deathwing. As one storm recedes, another rises. The torches have been lit. 5 torches. The secrets he buried will strike as a dagger into the hearts of his kin. I see. Of course, that would be all of the big naughty secrets that Deathwing had that will go into the hearts of good old Alexstrasza and Gelagos and co. The Harbinger speaks of a primal power that seeks to the end of order. Such rage can be bent to serve our ends. A hunger lost to the ages will be reclaimed. A dark heart left broken awaits the taking?
Can you feel my heart playing?
When these things come to pass, the Harbinger will fulfill the final prophecy and complete the awakening. Only then shall our queen return to reign over the sea and sky and earth. We must make ready. Rise, rise soon. All that was hidden will be revealed.
I love that.
See, we are being
rise.
edged. Nazoth was like, all the things that you didn't know, you will see. All that's been hidden will be revealed. Blah. Yeah. I mean, you know the Bernie Sanders clip where he just goes, "Bah."
Yes.
This is what I almost imagine after this, which is a little bit unfair.
Just a touch.
So we have actually committed lots of pre-thought on this, and our pre-thought has led us to things to unpack and answer. Okay, what or where is the Umbral Veil? You tell me, man.
Yeah, so that...
The veil. I mean, we had the Veil of Death, which was, I don't know, the big condom in the sky, and behind it was the Shadowlands, because who knows how that worked? Right, what, is there a fucking film? Poke a hole? Dimensional Rift? Captain Strange Doctor? What is it? Who knows?
Captain Strange Doctor. Now that's the name. Yeah.
Mysterious Steven.
I guess the problem with World of Warcraft is space and dimensions have been a little bit mixed historically, right? Because sometimes it's one way, sometimes it's the other way. And it's not quite sure because the space was like the Twisting Nether at one point in canon, sort of ish. And then distance got weird because of the way the Exodar flew and landed close, but they're not actually close. And then Illidan used a crystal to make the sky Argus. And I was like, what? And that was like, okay, well, if I've made a wormhole and closed 2 points in space, then Shadowlands kind of looks the same. So it's a little bit of a... I don't really know what. But given the fact that they literally use Veil, then Veil, that's, like you say, the Veil of Death. And that's either... And this is what I hate about sometimes... Whenever someone's trying to be very specific, because it's either true or false. Veil is either used very specifically to go, oh, it's the same as the Veil of Death, which means that means she has went to wherever, as Pokesum points out, where the old gods go to die. The realm of void, whatever that might be. Or it is just Veil, it's something different because it's meant to be misleading. So it is like a 50-50. It's a coin flip on whether or not it's that or the other way. But I would suggest it is likely, considering the transcended, considering the feel of she comes back. There we go. Transcended is now one with more voidy powers than ever before. Will come back with a character redesign. Might be just, more voidy tentacly instead of just normal fleshy tentacly. And that'll be pretty nice. Yeah, the even shadowier lands. Yep, that's exactly it. Although that's a good point, Viking, the Veiled Sea, maybe the Naga call it the Umbral Veil. So maybe it's like something else. Maybe it's maybe there's something under the water in the deep sea that's causing the problems or something. Maybe. But yeah, I think that's more or less it.
So we're thinking then it's either the realm of void. One may say, hang on a second, because void and shadow are the purple lands. We'll call them the purple lands for now. Okay, it's either that or maybe it's like a more Pandaria situation and it's some hidden thing on the planet. Of course, the last time we saw Azshara, she zooped away into a void portal. Because I suppose she learned to use the power of her supposed boss. Who is the Harbinger then? Well, there are a few clues. It could be Xalatath. It could be Eridicron.
It could be anybody. Okay, let me read. The Harbinger... Even now, the Harbinger gathers the children of the First Flesh. Even now, gathers the children.
Even now. So this implies a span of time.
Yes.
Now... So is this talking about, because by the time this patch happens, Eridicron's just flapping about, having a whale of a time, isn't he?
Harbinger.
So who could the Harbinger be? Because the even now bit it makes it seem like this is being like these children of the first flesh have been gathered for quite a lot of time. Now, who are the children of the first flesh? You know, it's a tricky one. So we've been trying to dive into the deep history of the races of Azeroth, right? And the Shu Hello, that is how the Tauren... Is that how the Tauren refer to themselves, thinking they as the first group? Or is that how the Tauren refer to their deepest ancestors?
I've seen it said kind of go both ways. I think the Tauren usually use it to refer to themselves, and the Shuhalo were like in the book reference is the children of the soil, the people who were there first. I think.
As John
So there's a
says,
bit
the
there.
Shu Hello.
Hello.
So the children, right? Our thought there was, they're fucking elementals. They're children of the earth. In the same way that dragons, you know, the fleshy, scraggly dragons come from rock bros, flappy rock bros. In this case, Shu Hello, probably some sort of elemental-like situation. Now, we've been thinking about the first flesh. Now, there's been a whole bunch of teasing about, like, the origin of the Tauren, where Bane, apparently, in Shadowlands, he would actually learn about the origin of his people. That obviously never happened. But so much seems to be like about the curse of flesh. We've always been told it's the curse of flesh, but obviously for us as mortal beings, the curse of flesh is actually a pretty damn good, it's a good enough deal. It means you don't have to be a robot with no free will.
The gift of flesh.
It's the gift of flesh, yeah. So the Shu Hello, and they're referred to... so in the Eyes of the Earth Mother story, it said that the Tauren's ancestral race, the Shu Hello, first came to be in the shadow of her bosom. Referred to as the the first children of the plains. You are my love made flesh. So, it's kind of interesting there. There's also some talk about it maybe being the Jardine elders. So Tarjin says this: the Jardine were the first earth giants to walk the surface of Azeroth. 4 elders of those ancient Jardine joined their powers together to burrow deep inside the earth. The elders emerged, touched by the fires of the world, to be true Jardine, commanding full control over fire and earth. Some say the elders did not die, but retreated deep into the earth, where they slumber and recover their strength. And of course, there are several Jardine within the Vault of the Incarnates. There's a party who are just outside the Primal Council area, and the emissary says, "Be on your guard, I do not trust these dragon worshippers. If their aid were not necessary to find our elder, their bones would be adorning our hall." Which just is very much pointing out the Jardine are not Team Iridicron and co, but they are happy to work with the Primalists because it furthers their goal of being able to go to wherever the hell their great elders went.
Indeed.
Got any more thoughts on the Harbinger?
No, I was kind of reading through there. It seems like, because the only parts are the Harbinger gathered children of the first flesh, their was lost. The Harbinger speaks of a primal power, the sixth end of order, and that's basically it. Well, they will fulfill the final prophecy and complete the awakening. So that depends on what the awakening is. What's being awoken? Who's being awoken? Is it the fifth old god? Is it whatever's the black locust is? Because that would imply that we're going to get to the end of this pretty quick. So I assume the Harbinger might actually be something that's happening in the background.
People are saying Magatha.
Magatha? I don't know what's happening with Magatha. The only thing I know is it's the Grim Totems are up to no good in general, as Kurog was proven, but he's been killed. So I think that's... Adam Neltharion tainted the oath stones for the old gods. That might be
5
true.
5 torches darkened.
Yeah, that might be true.
5 torches now.
Yeah.
Wasn't that it? 5 torches darkened?
5 torches darkened, yeah.
So
Yeah,
those
that
torches
could be
have been
it.
darkened, but then they're activated. Could that be something?
It could be.
Imagine if
Yeah.
it was Magni if he loses his control over himself. Probably not. Probably.
I would hate that.
Would be
I would
big,
hate that.
Hello, we have subverted your expectations. Meh.
The good guy was the bad guy. Whoa. Yeah.
What if Anduin Rain was in fact Anduin Spin? And he was bad. I don't know
Yeah.
where the fuck that came from. So what torches have been lit then? We've got 5 keys to open our way, 5 torches to light our path, 5 lanterns now darkened. The flames they seek will light the Master's way. Now, do you remember? Number 1.
Well, there's only one left.
There's a Master that friggin' Void Lady, Shadreen. There's the Master that Shadreen and those like Void Ethereals are working for, but also knock off my monitor just because I think there's data in my other window.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ashanda. There are 6 of those stones. There's the Mother Oath Stone, sorry. So that's a little bit interesting. But
Nice.
I honestly...
The Pale Beyond stream is on the front page of Steam right now.
That's really cool. Azshara the Harbinger of the Old Gods.
Oh, what was the boss fight where we deal with Azshara? The football fight that was really fun. And
The football fight, yes. I can't remember her name.
Maybe she's in
Just
Wikipedia.
just type football. Type football.
I'm pulling a young
Nyalotha.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Nyalotha.
The flames they seek will light the Master's way. I'm gonna be honest. There's a little bit of this I kind of glaze over a little bit of this.
Here we go.
Sanish, yeah. I glaze over some of this stuff because it's 5 keys, 5 torches, 5 lanterns, and a dark, and I'm like, there's no way both of these like statements were referring to these O-stones. They've clearly pulled this a little bit back in, and it keeps happening. Also, Dakor says it's further down in the dock. Zanish is down there.
Never mind.
Yeah, he sorted this out.
I am a boo.
So, yeah, I think there's...
One sec. No.
Yeah, I'm not swapping it over. Don't worry, I'm not going to dox everything on stream. Even though that will be...
It's fine. We just don't worry, publisher. It's marketing. Any mistake we make, it's marketing.
Yes, it is.
Did you not know that Winston Churchill said never waste a crisis? And now, because of this one quote from a figure from history, we can just justify anything.
Fantastic.
The power of having quotes. Well, okay, we'll get... if Dakor's put it in, then we'll get to it. But basically, she's all just like, Nazoth? Fuck all you. I'm going to deal with the real dude in power. And then she zooms away off to deal with the real thing in power.
Yes.
Who kept secrets from their kin, and what are those buried secrets? So,
Throw over here, yeah.
huh?
Can I throw over here?
Oh yeah, throw me over. Throw me in the bin. Neltharion and the Drakthir and or the Dragonflights. Well, maybe. We are diving into Neltharion's vaults in 1007, as well as the first chapter of the storyline is being called Hidden Legacies, and Embers of Neltharion is the new campaign or patch name. So, very much, I think...
Yeah, this is obvious.
Here's how I see this as an Old God expansion. We will have to deal with this new Primalist threat, while at the same time... there will be things to do with Deathwing that will tie into all of this spooky bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, Blizzard's job, I think, is, it is to pull this together in a way that feels okay. Because I think ultimately what they need to do is they need to make this Voidy shit be the Ulduar of this expansion, and they need the end of the expansion to be a Galakrond, a Chromatus, which is very unlikely, a Iridicrond, a Morazond. Morazdormu. It needs to be something like that, and then have the next expansion be that. And like from what the Stephen has said, this should be a lesson that they've learned. And even though Blizzard can never admit it, because I guess there's bozos like Ybarra running the fucking company now of the week. It was interesting seeing Preach's video of like, oh, I went there. I think Mike very much being like, right, I believe everything that those Blizzard people told me, but now I maybe understand the sort of working conditions that Holly and Ian and co are under, and I would totally agree with Mike's read there. From what I understand, like the leadership of the WoW team's trying really hard, but obviously, shit comes from up top. But anyway, I suppose my point is, I think they probably learned their lesson that like the end of the expansion has to, it has to resolve the reason why people are actually coming to the expansion.
It has to be a clean loop, right?
Yeah. So what primal power with such rage seeks to end order? So obviously the Primalist, the Incarnates, Iridicron, and if Iridicron's hunger is unleashed, Iridicron's mastery of the earth will harbor them. Yeah, and keep them out of our reach. At the end, he struck terrible bargains to keep their cause alive. So again, that's the other thing. Iridicron struck some sort of terrible bargain to keep their cause alive in the same way that Neltharion did. Now, you then have a thing where could they do a duality here where like...
It's obvious that's the plan.
Yeah, so Iridicron goes all voidy in the same way that
They're both Earth for the reason. Like it's
Yeah.
so obvious that they're setting up the two. Hey, these are two sides of the same coin.
And then we maybe kind of loop that in with the Tauren.
Yeah.
Because isn't it that the Tauren are supposedly pretty resistant?
Yeah. So one of Zalatas' lines about the Tauren is that they're surprisingly resistant to corruption, especially given their origins, which means obviously that the old gods must have had some capacity of some involvement in their creation, or even if that's just a line saying things closer to Azeroth or things closer to Azeroth, closer to the Earth, are then more susceptible to void, as we see with the Black Dragonflight, as we see with the Ridicron, historically. So I think that's what that is. So I'm assuming it's all going to work together in how that comes across. And then you do have to wonder, because Ebonhorn being a black dragon took a Tauren form, could theoretically go, hang on, that's a bit of a clue there, is it not? That he's most naturally a High Mountain Tauren. Interesting. Oh, why did Neltharion have a lair near where the Tauren were? That's interesting. How close are they to the Earth? Etc., etc. First children of the plains, etc., etc. That kind of stuff that boils around the back of your head, and you know it's there, but you can't quite piece everything perfectly.
Mm.
I think that's the way they're going. So Ridicron will ultimately be Neltharion too, and then everyone go, "Oh my God, he's Neltharion too!"
Wow!
This is emotionally relevant to the Dragonflights, and they will say as such. That's a very cynical way to describe it, because I think it might actually turn out pretty well.
See, what you do is you do that duality thing, but then you do it with a twist.
Yeah. Well, you don't even...
Not a twist, sorry,
No,
but you
no,
know,
no,
you have
no.
something in it that makes it interesting.
No,
Or, you know,
you don't do it with a twist.
You contrast them I should say contrast them going down similar paths and how they're different.
Yes, you do it very, very cleanly, and you go, hello. We have put down the Ridicron in the same way we had to put down Neltharion, but we didn't like him, but he had the same problems. Oh no. We mourn our brother again, because this is the second time we've had to kill him, even though it's not even him. And then you have the emotional moment, and you have all the voice actors do a cry, and everyone cries and claps on YouTube. It's great.
Here's a
Cynically, but literally, yeah.
funny factoid. Currently, 550 people are playing The Pale Beyond concurrently.
Dig in.
Fucking hell, that's really cool.
Such a...
Obviously,
oh my
for
God.
like a narrative indie game, you know, you're not expecting the concurrency numbers of a multiplayer thing.
Yeah,
but
sorry, I didn't do more numbers in CSGO. Pointless.
Yeah.
Why even bother? Why even bother?
CS, go try again, loser. Yo.
CS, go to the polls now.
Thank you, Hillary, for an endless meme format.
Yep.
How about you? Pale beyond your currently open browser window and onto store.steampower.com and buy the Pale Beyond.
Fantastic.
I think I
brilliant.
somehow made it more awkward than Big Hill Dog.
You should have just said, Pale Beyond, buy, please. Yes.
All right, so what hungies? How are they hunger?
They're,
How are they hella hungies?
hunger has to be... like, this is why I keep saying I hate it. I hate it because it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm really not a fan of that a lot of the time. Because if you were implying intent behind every word, because these are written, especially when you remember that Steve said in the interview with Hiramart that, what was the wording exactly? It was something along the lines of, the old god whispers, some of them are misleading intentionally, some of them are true intentionally. So you assume if he's doing that, then he'll do the same in, say, the Alpha Ream readings, say in the Neltharion's collection, the Old Gods in the Order of Azeroth book. There'll be misdirection and there'll be truth. And we don't know which is which, and we can't know which is which until it's revealed, which means speculation always has an air of uncertainty around it, which could make people look either very smart or very stupid. But I think this is the part that kind of pisses me off a little bit. Because it's like, hey, yeah, here's the hunger. Well, if you're going to say hunger, everyone immediately goes, oh yeah, the Galacront. And then it's either yes or no. And you go, well, which one is it? Hey, it's one or the other. So yeah, quite literally, if you're to follow this through using, you just, yeah, it's Galacront. The hunger that's lost to the ages. The spirit of decay, or the element of decay that was so strong. Because that's what we're starting that to seem to be. Because DK, Donkey Kong. The decay, the element, is very much the elemental version of death. And because Shadowlands is now over, thank the Lord, they can't tie Galakron to Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where Undeath is. That's where, as Shenton always points out, I can't remember, Jalad, that's the name. Yeah, Jalad, so Jalad and the Not Living are the Hunger Lost to the Ages. The whatever Tyr was doing, infusing things with decay, infusing them with fire, frost, fire, water, earth and air resulted in all of those things, then decay would have resulted in those. And that would be the Hunger Lost to the Ages, they would be back. So that would pull them away from being, what are called? Pull them away from being Shadowlandsy death, which everyone goes, to. Especially with the line of necromancy being done by other forces. Then decay would be, an elemental form of undeath, or theoretically, a life form of undeath.
Well, here's the thing: if we at the end of the day are all like pebbly, rocky dudes that have been given the gift of flesh, then Void's got some fucking, or it all has some ownership over us, right? Everything.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Light, Kalia, Manithil, right? They purposely did that to say that it's not only a an Arthas sort of necromantic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was something there.
Darkheart.
Something there. Was it? Sorry, there was something else. It was about. Yeah, I was going to say Brackenhide was very much decay, very much set up. That whole thing was set up, but there was no payoff to that whatsoever. There was no payoff for anything there. And if there's no payoff, then you have to assume one of two things. It's like the Just in BFA, no. Like the Just in Shadowlands where it's cut, or it's not been done yet. So I assume it'll just be tied into that. That they did that for a reason. Absolutely. Because nothing's done by accident. At least nothing that requires that much time. Small side quests, yeah, they'll be fine. But when you have an entire area, an entire dungeon all using decay with very specific lines that call them out in a way that's clearly obvious, then it's definitely going to be a specific part of it, I think. So that'll be it. Galakron. Ridicron becomes Galakrondi. Maybe he has the Not Living with him again or something. And then we have to fight those. And I keep wanting to say 6.3 or 6.4. And I think it's just because Endwalker 6, and also I think about Warlords a lot. But yeah.
There's another side to this too. Tyr.
Oh.
We're presumably going to put the little Cylon USB stick into this new Tyr body we've made.
Yeah.
Right? And I suppose whenever that happens, this is, Tyr is a fella, he's maybe not as super happy with his Titan friends. Or, like with the other keepers, he's maybe more Team Us. Maybe he's going to be just more willing to, let the knowledge out.
Yeah. Akaria has a very good point.
Oh, shit.
Akaria says that decay came from roots. And roots are underground. Yeah. We're going to go find Dralad and they're not living underground. Probably, when we go down there. And then that'll be tied into Neltharion and Tyr somehow. Maybe Neltharion kept them hidden. Oh! That's it. They're all underground. They're all being held in Aberrus. Because Aberrus is where you would hold aberrations. And Neltharion would have wanted to actually keep them down there and hold them there. Yeah. So he'll want to keep them down there to research them because he doesn't want Galakron to happen again because he wants to defend the planet. But also if he's keeping Dralad down there, because maybe something about Dralad was special, then Azshara? Alexstrasza would be very upset with him not telling her that. Yeah. And that would be the emotional angle for you've betrayed your kin. Bang. You betrayed your kin by hiding her undead brother from her. So you're doing that. So I think that's underground is where they sent the Drakthir drained of black dragon essence. So I imagine they're down there in Aberrus as well. Because things that are aberrations are down there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what we covered last week about the Drakthir and Neltharion.
Yeah. So yeah, it is all coming together very well. And now if this isn't what I find, if we go down there and all this isn't here, I'll be furious for them not following up through what they set up, because this is such a seriously, it's not obvious, right? Because we have to put together a lot of things, and obviously you've helped us this time. I wouldn't have twigged onto that without Akaria's point. So I think that is we're following these breadcrumbs together So I hope they're all super intentional and they actually do lead us where we think we're going. Because I would be so... It feels a bit annoying because obviously being excited over here's some story bit in the video game, whatever. But if there's a 10...
You don't have to be excited about that. Come on.
So if there's a 10.1 trailer and it's like here's all the unliving or something, the not living and Drylad, I'd be like, got you.
Yeah. Good. Now we do have the Dark Heart stuff where... Heart of Azshara, right? Because when you defeat, when you ultimately defeat Garrosh at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar, all that remains on the floor is a fading breath. And in a follow-up quest, it's described as a dark, vaporous substance stains the floor of the room. This is all that remains of the old god Azshara. So I wonder if anyone's wondered that. Of course, you know, Garrosh does his thing, and what ended up being, I think, a patch trailer that changed things. So that was such a good patch trailer. Of course, there is the Dark Heart of Azeroth. This is from the Song of the Depths. A dark heart left broken awaits the taking. So it's a heart that has been left broken.
That could be anybody, like.
I mean, does that have something to do with Azeroth and consuming spirit?
Or is it metaphorical for someone who's upset?
Her heart is a crater and we have filled it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird. You know, all of this, I mean, our earth, our strength. There's so much that points towards Azeroth not being perfectly uncorrupted.
I mean, they've said there's so much in BFA that was setting that up. It was like, was there not? I need to confirm this, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to confirm, but I think I remember stuff about how the old gods shouldn't be this close to her heart, or whatever it was. Whenever we were in there, we heard the beating, we heard the ticking, and they broke through, and you're like, what are they doing so close? This shouldn't have been possible. And you're like, oh no, she's clearly like actually been like. And then there's the line from the old gods in the Ordering of Azeroth where it is just, hey, I'm trying to remember the exact wording of it. Yes, it was the book originally says that the Titans are the ones who nurtured the bones of the world. And then the notes in the margins say that the old gods are the ones who nurtured the flesh of the world. And that's a very important thing. Again, this is looking into individual words and how specific they are. Bones versus flesh. Well, flesh, okay. So the Titans could have nurtured the bones of the world, but bones and flesh are different. And that, you know, you go, okay, well, they built those things, but then the flesh, the mortals, maybe the innards of the planet were then nourished by the old gods themselves. They're the ones who created mortals, is what we're currently thinking based off that line. And then that goes further. And as Dakor says, there's lines in Eyes of the Earth Mother that says, the Earth Mother, when slumbering, embraces the earth, presses her heart against the ground so that her heartbeat plays a song through the ground. So that could be some dark underground song, theoretically, through that kind of connection. So yeah, there's a lot of piecing together very different elements together. But it's almost certainly going to be related to that, I think. Related to the depths of Azeroth.
Well, this is actually, I mean, we're going to get very onto this soon, where what is the final prophecy and the awakening? Yeah. And people think about an awakening. What could it be? It's probably not Chromatis waking up, right?
Me screaming every morning.
If you're there, we go. It's Matt's alarm clock. No, the awakening of Azeroth. Because here's from the this is a whisper from the Chromie scenario in Valdrassus, where you fall your way into Ny'alotha. Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dreams, our song. Now, what everybody does this sound very similar to? From the earth he draws his strength. Our earth, our strength, our dreams, our song. I think the idea here, like, is there a co-opting?
There is.
You know, there's a co-opting of things by Void.
Yeah, especially when you remember the oracle in Terrath Mortis, Cesar, who says her dreams sing beneath the surface. Quiet now, but her voice will awaken the others. And a couple other things. Let me just find them. Their song flows through me, obviously, you know. The normal gossip. The cycle has been broken. An eternal song stirs, but the threads must be woven. So it is all about, like, the song is the very important thing. The stuff set up in Shadowlands is kind of there. So yeah, it is. It's the song. It's the song. It's all leading towards the same direction.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think we're going to see is the other side of Azeroth, some hidden lands, forgotten knowledge, forbidden knowledge, things we're going to find out. And I would really hope that they do some of this via tier. If I was to say anything to the World of Warcraft development team, it would be, this is all really cool, right? And like,
Very fun.
I have talked to Steve before. He knows we really enjoy this stuff, right? Even from those times in Legion with the original Il'gynoth Whispers, they brought so much happiness and joy. They were awesome, and I still love poring over this stuff. What I would say is that the way to make this land is there needs to be some form of discussion about it with a character. Now, obviously, there is show don't tell, so we don't just want a big exposition conversation with Tyr, but I would really like a lot of this to be explained via something with the character of Tyr, so that instead of a nasty going, "Yeah, fuck you gamers, we've got you again," yeah, which apparently Skeletor is just everyone now. Instead of that, I think it should be, Kaligos, Khadgar, Tyr, Alexstrasza. And, we're going on an adventure with these characters, and maybe some of these things, those come to light. Tyr gets to explain his perspective on them. Or maybe it's just the case where Tyr explains how he was betrayed, or whatever happened with him. And then we, via picking some of this up, can fill in just a few gaps. So I think that because Tyr has been established as a friendly character who can take us through this narrative process, that's what I think can make this actually land. There's enough,
And they've already learned that. And the part that's very annoying me is I literally cannot think of the exact example I'm thinking of. But I know there was some quest line or some conversation that I went, you have learned how to use dialogue to tell your story as opposed to using prose. And this is where we talk about the Pale Beyond. No, quite literally, that was one of the parts of Pale's development where prose was very tell, don't show. Mm-hmm. And then over time, the writing team found ways to continually work in more, okay, well, how do we get this point across with character action instead of prose telling you, oh, you noticed that the character does this. What can you do that's differently? I think they're doing that a little bit better. They're doing that a little bit better overall with how characters speak. And I think some of it might just be down to quest designers doing like a little bit better work rather than narrative designers planning this out. But I think if those teams can work in unison, they could end up having a really good experience. It's just a matter of how much they're willing to, how much time's willing to be there, I think. God, Gerald says using Dralad wouldn't make a lot of sense. He wasn't properly built up yet. No emotional connection there. That's where you can hijack the emotional connection. We don't know Dralad, but Alexstrasza does. So we know Alexstrasza. So if Alexstrasza feels profound emotional pain from the rediscovery and loss of her brother and the betrayal was involved in that, then we'll feel that by proxy. That's one of the handiest tricks in the writing book, is to go, yeah. I mean, it's not too far removed from the concept of fridging, where you just go, oh yeah, how do we make you feel for this character? I'll kill their partner or something, or do something like that. So I think there's some nice stuff they're doing, I think, overall, in regards to this. What are we up to next now?
Good, sorry, I was just responding to some pressing matters.
Yeah, no worries.
Now then, which I'll just have to do from time to time. It's all good.
Yep.
So, the recent whispers.
Oh yes, these again. I remember these.
Yeah, recent whispers from the Chromie scenario. Okay, Knowing Present says, I know you, what you were, what you will yet be. You will follow him to the deep places. Dark waters will flow in his wake.
Yep.
With many... Huh?
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
With many eyes, they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. Deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. Her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams, our song.
Water and roots. Lots of water, lots of roots. And I think, my brain is so big it's going to explode. Trees. Roots. You think of trees, you think of Teldrassil, you think of trees. You think of the new tree that's been planted. You think of roots, you think of Brackenhide, all the roots that were underneath the ground bringing up the decay. But you know what else has roots? You know what else have trees? Vin Diesel was right. Family. Family trees. You have roots in your ancestry. This roots means two things. I am very smart. In case anyone didn't get that, that was really heavy sarcasm. That was really heavy sarcasm, and I think this is... I kind of like it, but I'm also going, oh my... Jesus, you hack frauds. I think it's... Oh, that's fun. But yeah, no, that's the case where they're going to try to tie together these stories of...
So we will follow Eridicron into the deep places. Dark waters will flow in his wake. Dark waters. Now, waters have always been associated in many ways with the power of Azeroth. The waters of the Well of Eternity, the halls of infusion.
Yeah.
The idea of dark waters then is those corrupting waters, the very same old god, void-aligned, corrupted waters that caused... bullshit to happen. Remember, that's why the Halls of Infusion exists, supposedly, to purify those waters.
I don't think the waters will be literal. I think the waters will be a little bit more theoretical or a little more metaphorical at the minute. I don't think that being too... I don't think that will be too literal. Maybe it will because the roots are very literal. I just can't figure out a way for... Because obviously downstairs... Downstairs? Hello? Underground is all lava. I mean, yeah, it could be like decay water. That would make sense. Oh, yeah. No, that would make sense. You go downstairs and it's a little swampy. But that'd be dark waters, decay waters. Interesting. Yeah, they will drink and be uplifted. Deeper. There's so many different things here. But then how do you go down underground and find... Here's Aberrus, where it's all decay and not living and stuff. And then here's... the water bad, and here's the lava where the Jarradine go, and then it's like an elemental cavern full of all the different elements except for air because we dealt with that upstairs. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because there's some times where all of the parts will be in your head and they'll click together perfectly. And yeah, you're right, Cyril. You could apply a fire analogy to roots and water using volcanoes and magma. Hang on, and then that's also earth as well. I think we've found something out here. I think we've found something that I imagine all of the shaman of the ages knew. Everything's the same. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. There's some earth, some water, some trees. It's all the same.
As above, so below.
Alchemists, man, alchemists were smart.
Bro. Get fucking alien in this shit.
Hermes Trismegistus is some pop, I tell you.
Yeah. Trismegistus.
Hermes some pop. And also a good character in another video game. Yeah.
What JRPG has him? I mean, I know it's a JRPG because A, it's Hermes Trismegistus, and also it's you.
FF14.
Oh, fuck my ass. Yeah.
One of his abilities in the fight is literally called Trismegistus.
Oh yeah, fuck me. Plow me into the snow. God damn it.
Yes, very good. Very good. Yeah, so in terms of what this actually means, I'm really not sure. All I know is there's a lot of stuff going on. And I think if I go for a meditative walk in the woods, I'll come back out with a complete video just in my head. So I might have to do that tomorrow. I'll be like, okay, here's how this all ties together. And then the whole video will actually
But we're lifting first. You won't be able to walk.
Oh, of course.
You know that kind of like, lifter. You can't really move your legs, so you just sort of, rock side to side as you go forward, kind of waddle about.
Oh, yeah.
We waddle in the woods.
Yeah, I can't.
That'll be the name of our next game. A waddle in the woods.
Yeah, it's like invisible lat syndrome, where your arms, instead of being here, your arms are out here. Like that. That's invisible lat syndrome. It's very good.
So, when we last met then with Xalatath, remember... So, we have the Twist the Knife quest line, which was the opening of the Crucible of Storms. That was the raid tier where we proved to N'Zoth that we would be able to defeat Azshara before Azshara kills him, but with enough time so that she would try to free him, thus freeing him.
Yep.
Don't worry about it, it's BFA.
Don't worry about it.
Hear me, God of the Deep. I brought you the opener, the bringer of truths. The torch that lights the way. Honor our bargain. Free me to find my own fate. Go, but the blade must remain to serve my will. Fair exchange. Shadows guide you, my dear friend, she says to me. We will meet again. I am certain of it. So, yes, she will meet us. Oh dear.
That looks like a
Um,
what do you call screenshot? Oh my
It's,
god. My brain's turned
this
off.
looks like one of those nudie screenshots from Twitter.
Dear.
Do you
Oh,
ever?
dear.
Does somebody ever follow you on Twitter? And there's a little, 18 thingy, so you know that their profile is just 18 plus. You click on it, you're like, what? It's like this mystery box of like, when I click on this Twitter profile, what the hell am I going to see, and will I be scarred?
Yeah, I'm very happy you didn't use that one, Dagor. That would have been worse.
What did he say?
There's a picture with a cylindrical shadow.
Ah, of course, the big tentacle.
Added to it, yes.
Oh, added to it. Oh dear.
Yeah.
The last time we saw and spoke with Queen Azshara, we of course had Dark Inquisitor Zanesh, where we played some football to defeat the enemies, and she said, "Now go and do what you will. I tire of intermediaries and heralds. The true throne of power beckons, and I intend to claim it."
Yeah.
What's the true throne of power? It ain't the seat of the Pantheon.
That was just the fucking box, big circle.
That was just a wee box in the sky.
Yeah.
No, it's something more true. So she obviously knows shit. Now here's the deal. She's gonna know a whole bunch of shit that she will have learned from N'Zoth. Meaning, she's gonna see the far bigger picture, which probably means something to do with Azeroth. Or something to do with the core.
Zerath Voidus.
I don't even think it's bigger than Zerath Voidus.
I don't know.
It's bigger than Zerath Umbra, I should call it.
Yeah, that would suck.
Oh yeah,
ass.
the Umbral Veil, Zerath Umbra. That's kind
That
of
would
obvious.
suck so hard.
It couldn't be
please.
that. No, it couldn't be that.
Yo, though, it
Yo,
might
though.
actually be smart. They might have used their Brian here.
Oh my god, not him.
Yeah, they've got a fella called Brian in the basement, and whenever they need to think really hard, they bring him out. We say Brian when we mean brain because we're stupid. Yeah, so
Really are.
Zerath Umbra. Right, okay. We have to deal with the Zeraths. That's in lore now. We can't get rid of Zeraths. They're there. We could maybe not have to deal with Zerath Ordos because the Titans are already chilling and doing whatever else. Zerath Mortis is already, we've dealt with that. So the worst thing you could possibly do as a development team is bring us to all the Zeraths.
Yes.
Because we would say, why are you doing this? We hate
Instead,
this.
pull a Halo and
is
take
awful.
us from one Halo to another Halo to the Arc to Zeta Halo and just keep on going. All these different rings.
Yeah. So instead of that, what if you blow them up off screen, and then we never have to go there? So if the Umbral Veil is actually the way to the Shadowed Lands, but the Void Shadowlands, the whatever, and then Azshara made her way to Zerath Umbra and took whatever power was there, took whatever it was. Obviously, that wouldn't be immediately connected to Azeroth in the same way Jailor was, with his the tips touching and the power flows.
sort of docking,
Yeah. So
Yeah, like a dragon in the ISS. They
exactly,
power flows.
exactly.
They both have power ports. You see.
Sorry, I have to compose myself. That was a bit too fun to say. But instead of
That's
that,
the joke.
instead of that,
Uh-huh.
then it's separate. Then she has to explode the place and take the power for herself. So if
She has to explode it and take the power for
yeah,
herself.
yeah. So if she turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, Zerath Umbra, I was there and I got the doodad from it, and I put the doodad into my chest as like I'm a weird fucking magical girl thing, and then it's my power now, and then I am now the Void Azshara. I am Azshara, Queen of the Umbral or some shit. That's good. I like that. Azshara, Queen of the Umbral, and you don't have to go to Zerath Umbra or think about it again, because all you need to know is you have to kill me to take my doohickey widget from the bad place. And everyone goes, perfect, sweet, and that would solve their problem of having to deal with Zerath Umbra entirely. That might be what they're trying to do with this overall, is try to bring it all. So instead of us going to there and having to deal with that stuff, what if they bring it all to Azeroth through a bunch of independent characters who are acting? And then we go, independent characters who are acting. That's what we wanted. We didn't want a show. World of Warcraft's a show now. Might as well be for some. World of Warcraft is a game that the plot is just us being shunted forward randomly at times. Now it's like people showing up going, hello, I have been on many quests. And we will give them to you in the form of lore books in patch zones. But those are our quests, and we have all these problems solved. Now you just have to deal with Azeroth. You get to stay at home and have fun. That might be fun. That might be a good idea.
So while I cannot,
If you're doing that, please DM me and tell me a story. Thank you.
while I cannot confirm anything yet, what I can say is currently the sales trajectory for the Pale Beyond is pleasing everyone.
Pleasing everyone.
We might be able to keep the lights on, Matt.
Oh, but it's by like the dark. No.
And we can make the second game, the Pale Beyond the Beyond.
The Pale Beyonder.
That's it, the Pale Beyonder. That's where...
Yo, that's...
The Pale Beyonder, where you can find the firstest ones. Steve, we're going to get to Zareth before us, but for you.
I'm going to be honest. The Pale Beyonder's a really cool name for a ship or a mecha or something. Just this, like, painted white thing skirting through the night. The Pale Beyonder.
The Pale Beyonder. Now, there's also Ilaria. I think a character who has...
She's died twice, hasn't she?
Bingo.
So is Azshara.
Well, we technically met Ilaria between the events of Enzoth's downfall and the end of the Shadowlands. She had very little to do with the story. The only time she was really involved is when she attended Sylvanas' trial in Oribos at the end of the Shadowy Lands. To that point, after N'Zoth's downfall, she had a conversation with Turalyon at the Valley of Heroes, revealing that new voices have joined the chorus. So, here's the deal with Ilaria. I don't know, is she just going to turn into some sort of like Elven Lied character?
No, she's
going to... all
going
this
to...
crazy shit's happening in her brain and people start exploding. Who knows?
No, she's going to... No. Uriel's going to kill her, and then Turalyon's going to be on our side for the light fight.
Ooh. Is that going to... Horrific visions. Horrific visions. Horrific
no,
visions
they were just a
of
possibility. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, I think
Sure.
there's plenty to do with her, for sure.
So. Has the downfall of the old god brought at least a measure of peace? The whispers did not end in his defeat. In fact, it seems new voices have joined the chorus. When I think of the nightmares, the nightmare he forced into my mind, ... Later on then, there's another one that Ilaria had with Turalyon, also the Valley of Kings, but this time it was after the defeat of Argus. And it concerns her perceived deaths, where she says, "Sometimes I feel I've already died twice. It's almost as if I'm speaking to some sort of prophecy. What could it possibly mean? Once when we were presumed lost from Dratnor, and again when gripped by the shadow of the fallen Naru. At the hour of her third death, she will usher in our coming."
Yeah, that could be either... That could be Sylvanas, Azshara, or Illyria. Options. Leave yourself options, and then you don't have to commit to a story if things go horribly wrong.
Bingo.
But it also throws us off, because we're like,
people-
if it was just one character, we go, oh, it's them.
People may say, really, options cowards. To which I would say, FF14 has consistently done this all the time.
Yeah.
They consistently leave themselves with loads of fucking options. Remember, they didn't have any of the Endwalker stuff, or even, I think, Shadowbringer stuff planned whenever they were doing Heavensward.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whenever all of that stuff initially happens with fucking Joe Dempsey, Mr. Colgate himself.
Yeah.
Was it Colgate? What was
It was
Colgate?
Clearsill.
Clearsill, Mr. Clearsill. If you're not aware, Ardbert, he did the voice acting for a mouthwash in the UK. It was very funny. But
It wasn't mouthwash, it was...
Toothpaste?
no, Clearsill is skin for acne stuff.
Oh, okay, so...
Yeah.
Yes. They introduced his character, and obviously he has an extremely strong, very poignant arc in the Shadowbringers expansion. But whenever that character was first conceived, maybe they had ideas for that, but they overall said, like, no, they didn't have it all mapped out.
Yeah.
What they have consistently been able to do is to leave themselves plenty of latitude for the future and then satisfyingly pull things together as time goes on.
It's the same with the entire Crystal Tower, and even whenever the Morse code at the end of the Crystal Tower questline in ARR, and you're like, you listen to that and you go, well, that makes complete sense. Did they plan this for 200 years? No, they didn't. Not at all. They had no plans whatsoever. They just left things open and went, hell yeah, we can do that. So I think options are fine. And I think options in this case actually do a good job of deflecting the story and giving us an interesting stuff to think about. Because of course, like the other part is Azshara's death. What Morse code in Crystal Tower at the end of the cutscene when Nero launches the thing into the pit. You hear Morse code, and I can't remember what the Morse code exactly is, but it is called back to in Endwalker with a line of dialogue that is very, very poignant and very strong and exceptionally well planned, except it's not planned at all. They just went, remember this breadcrumb we left? Yeah, do you want to follow that one now? As opposed to they could have just not bothered, but they did.
And that's
it's all wrong. That's what it was. Yeah,
when a job is done well, it looks like it was planned because you made it look easy. You know, it makes it look like Ishikawa just did the right drugs and ascended into some bizarre plane and came down with an entire amazing plot line done. No, it's just a case of, how can I do something emotionally satisfying that honors the past? Just keep on doing it.
Do the hard work. Like,
yeah,
that's what ultimately is. And I think this will prove fine, because we're like, who could this be? How many people have died 2 times? Well, is it, as someone pointed out, is it Jaina? Clearly not, because Jane has clearly been sunsetted as a character, largely speaking, after BFA. But she died 2 deaths. Didn't die, but there were 2 parts that were, emotional things strong enough that could be perceived as deaths. Stuff like that. And then Azshara, obviously, she had, her 2 deaths were her initial drowning and then her being Nizothed, I think. Or maybe there's something else. Or maybe the 2 deaths are the fact that, drown yourself in the circle of stars. She was the one who made it through the circle of stars, which means her second literal sort of death may have been a second off-screen death. That makes sense, or something along those lines. So, and Sylvanas is another contender because she's died twice technically. Stuff like that. It's very much possible. And
this is crazy. Currently, it seems we're just a few places behind Octopath Traveler.
That's insane.
In sales.
That's insane.
Currently, anyway. I imagine Octopath is going to zoom ahead. Right now, we're 15th in the UK. We've got like 28 reviews, 27 positive, 1 negative.
Nice, that's
which
good.
Which gives us a happy Steam score. Let's see, what's our current Steam score if I click in the Pale Beyond?
Speaking of Pale, Falter Nap asks, does the Pale Beyond run on Apple Silicon? It only says 64-bit requirements. Yes.
Hey.
And do you know why that is?
We're 94%.
Nice. Do you know why I know that for sure? Because it runs on this. It also runs on this, which I can't show you without
and also runs
destroying
on
my
Linux
thing.
via Proton.
Yep, because it's Steam Deck verified. Steam Deck. Yeah, so we have actually one of the reasons for us being this now being, how have I pointed the right way? This all being clear behind me, and our eyes instead of darting this way, now dart this way,
which is good because it looks more like you.
Yeah, so we now have a monitor here. And a Mac Studio here that does all of our rendering and all our stuff.
Mac Studio is such a sexy, delicious, brilliant device. Oh my god.
So yeah, it does.
Apple, okay, I know obviously not for gaming, but you see for like the sort of work that we do in video production, Apple are fucking killing it.
Absolutely.
I mean, this thing completely slays video editing and like, it's a laptop that runs really quick when you don't have it plugged in. What?
Oh. Yeah, and it's very good unless you want to use Handbrake or FFmpeg, which struggle with the hardware encoding, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy? Currently, there are 2,200 people on the Steam page for the Pale Beyond. We know that because there's a live stream on that, which is the developer's commentary with me and Thomas.
It's really impressive that you're streaming twice, especially in the same place once. Yeah.
No, so Matt, you know the way remember those old TVs where, not old, but like those TVs where they would be like polarized. So if you're looking at the TV from one direction, you see one thing, the other direction, the other thing.
You're polarized.
I'm currently polarized.
Cool, that's awesome. Very good.
And you're actually a quantum superposition of Matt and Thomas, which explains why Thomas is currently doing a live stream with me and also in there working in patch 1.2.1. Also, we may drop a few frames in just a little bit because Thomas is literally going to be uploading a new build of the game that fixes 1 or 2 issues.
Fantastic.
Because we are, in fact, working round the fucking clock to do that. But don't worry, the only people who are being crunchy are, I guess, the 3 of us. Because that's our fate. Yay.
It is, as they say, to live is to suffer.
Dar Augur.
Atreus. I know it's Atreus, but Atreus.
If only you knew what lay beyond the Pale Beyond.
Why now? £15 on Steam.
Is that not enough?
Thanks, Star Augur.
Must I show you the true horror of our reality? Very well, witness what I've seen and tremble. Avatars of non-existence. know nothing but hunger. These are relevant to previous things that we've said, which is why I'm over enunciating them.
Me right now.
These are beings who will devour the future you so futilely fight to protect. So he basically sees whole void universe.
You know what's really funny?
Yeah.
I'm such a corny cringe weeb that I see these are the beings who will devour the future used to futilely fight to protect.
Kano,
and in my
that's a good
head, I just immediately imagine a whole speech, but like, no, it is not futile to protect our future, etc., etc., etc. We fight for the things, etc., etc.
Like when Jack and Kyle are like, no!
Maybe.
I will not suck your mayonnaise, devil. And then they play a rock song, and then they defeat Satan.
Exactly. Those do look like roots. They do, yeah.
Oh, Evan, thank you for the $20
Yeah,
super. Order
you.
yourself a pizza for crunch. Do you think you can pack a pizza in, Matt?
Well, surely good. There's plenty of space.
I can always make room for pizza.
Yeah.
I will I will roll up the stairs into bed. Actually, you see, that's the thing.
Yep.
Going to the gym does not guarantee being shredded. But if it does guarantee being like God of War Thor, where I can just walk around being gripped, but also with my belly hanging out because Thor,
Power belly,
that's
yeah.
a win.
Yeah, it's called a power belly for a reason.
Power belly, yeah.
You've got a choice in life. Do you? No. Who was it?
Kiriko's Grizzly.
There was was he a strong man or a powerlifter? I can't remember. I think it was a strong man. Said something about, someone asked him like why he doesn't have like visible abs, because he just had a big gut. I just said abs are not a sign of power. Abs are just a sign you're not eating enough. More or less.
Hell yeah, to that, brother!
Yeah. No, you've got paths. You've got the calisthenics. You go for aesthetics. You could be a bodybuilder, go for aesthetics. Or you could be a powerlifter and be physically strong instead. And also not be able to stretch or get out of bed. But yeah, Yeah.
So for Nyalothan Corruption Reborn.
Yeah.
For all of the garbo of this, N'Zoth, Uber Garbo. Everything else in that raid is too broad of a statement, but I still enjoyed Nyalotha. That said, it is also when we met some truly wonderful people that we still play with to this day. Revisiting Il'gynoth's whispers. Before the last shadow falls, the sleep daddy will have a bite to eat.
Tisty.
That's what he said. The Golden One claims a vacant throne. To rally on, the Crown of Light will bring only darkness. To rally in bad. Now, are they pivoting away from that? Who knows? But once again, this could mean fucking anything. This throne. Now, let's go back up to what your one said. Where are you? Hello. The true throne of power beckons, and I intend to claim it. So, is that an empty throne? Are we going to have a fight between a big tentacle, Azshara, and Yrel? Who knows?
Who knows, dude?
When their mistress beckons, 9 ravens take flight. Each seeks a prize to earn her favor. Probably
what?
Sylvanas, but...
Yeah, but 9 ravens. I'm tired. What's this?
Yes. The vassal of life disguises treachery. Beware the eyes of green. Who could that be?
Who's got green eyes?
Who's got green eyes?
Loads.
It's probably some... Yeah, who is it? Who knows? There's a few different theories for that, obviously, with Ysera, obviously, now that Ysera's been transformed by death. Will that mean something? Who knows? We have also got 5 lanterns now darkened. The flames they seek will light the master's way. So, that is the Oathstones, is it? Who fucking knows? Hang on a second.
Now darkened. Yeah, because they're now darkened.
5 lanterns now darkened. 5 keys. 5 torches to light our path. So here's the deal, though. What if the keys, the torches, and the lanterns are different?
They are all different. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the same thing.
So the keys
Yeah.
were in that expansion.
Keys were the pillars of corruption.
Oh, and we are dropping frames because patch 1.21 for the Pale Beyond is currently uploading.
Yes. It will be a short period of time of just the suck.
Is there any way that we could perhaps decrease...
Not without restarting stream.
Sag.
Yep. It's a very big problem.
If it is any, well, help, we are getting 100 up soon. Right now we're limited to 50 up.
Yeah.
What is the stream experience like? I mean, guys, do you
Yeah,
have-
it looks bad. It looks bad. All right. Let's see if I can just... Please. Patience. Let's not finish that sentence. So I know what that is. That's not going to change until I restart stream.
No?
Oh, wait. Wait. Wait.
Hey, Matt.
Does anyone know when OBS got the ability to change bitrate on the fly before like restarting stream for YouTube?
This is where we say, yo,
that's actually sick.
there we go. Game development, it's happening live and we are dodging it. We have dodged the game development, Matt.
Yo, so we are going to look a little bit crispier.
We're going to be crispy boys.
But yo, that's
so we
sick.
got the keys. Right, we have key, what? Torch, what? Lantern, what? That is the question, folks. So, the keys. Maybe the sigils?
No, the keys would be the pillars of creation.
But how are they doing anything?
Because Tomb of Sargeras and something.
So by closing the Tomb of Sargeras portal, we did something, I guess. Do they need the energy of the Tomb of Sargeras, which is actually the Temple of Elune?
I have no idea.
We are
I have no idea.
confusables.
It's there's loads of different things to try and piece together here. I think this is the kind of thing that's very difficult to put together on the fly. I think because I know sigils acting as keys for Zereth Mortis. That's obvious, but I'm not entirely sure. Actually, let me just look and see what have we got here. What were the keys? How have I looked at my own screen? Wouldn't it?
Whoa, oh my god, Patrick, thank you for the 55
hell yeah,
euro
thank you.
super. He regrets the release of the game, playing it right now, enjoying it a lot. Here is something for, celebratory whiskey.
Right, I forgot. No.
See you later, folks!
Yep, absolutely.
So, what is the whiskey?
It's a whiskey.
Hibiki?
Kogo?
Lafroig? Are you a Lafroig man, or are you not a
I love
Lafroig?
Lafroig, man.
You're a
I
Lafroig man.
only ever had one bottle of Lafroig once. This was maybe 20... Oh dear, I don't want to say this. Maybe 2014, 2015? And it was extremely good. Extremely good.
What
I
about...
drank it very quick.
There was one, right? There's a place in Belfast called Hooligans.
Oh, lads, yeah.
Fuck me, they have delicious food. Like, their TripAdvisor is like up the fucking wazoo. It's so
Yeah.
good. A small wee spot, but really good. And they had this whiskey. It was called Yellow something. Yellow something 10.
Yellow Man?
Might have been a Yellow Man 10. But yeah, no, Jordan had it one time and holy shit. I like a little sip of it and it was like this god whiskey.
Very nice.
Oh, whiskey.
Very
You know,
nice.
one that was nice was the Johnny White Walker, but if it was
Oh
put in the
yeah,
freezer.
that was super tasty.
That was from, what's Sticky's dad called? What's his name again?
William?
William. That was it. William Lee,
Yeah, indeed.
proprietor of a delicious Chinese restaurant.
Indeed. Why
It was
is
very cool. Me and Matt were drunk, and he just like we were drunk because he kept on giving us shots of like really nice whiskeys, and then he like took us both up, like Dickie's mates, so we get to see his whole collection of cool alcohols. It's very cool. To get back to though the keys, the sigils, the pillars, the lanterns, the torches. So the torch that will light the way is
torches that will light the way? So, as someone said in chat, there are 5 keys to open our way. The pillars were definitely a thing of 5, and they stopped the Legion from taking over Azeroth, because the Legion were the enemies of the old gods for sure, and we were obviously part of that whole thing. So, the 5 keys to open the way. To open the way. Open the way. Which way? Our way. This is very annoying.
just tweeting.
But
out
yeah,
patch notes, one sec.
because of the change of connections, because of the way everything is like loosely linked through events, and you kind of go, well, obviously the Void's fully aware of possibilities and how things go. Because if I say keys that open the way, then that would be, say, theoretically, you could say, hey, so we stopped the Legion. What did that do? No, open the way. Where do we open our way? What do we open? We opened the way to, for Guild Jaden to come in, for the Legion to come in. So what did that do? Well, the Legion came, and then we beat the shit out of them, went to Argus, killed them, which then we killed Argus, which then stopped the big death robot, the Arbiter, and then that did something, and something. Shadowlands happened, something. That did a load of stuff too. It's the chain of causality.
Fucking hell, did you write the final season of Game of Thrones? You're like, whatever. Arya, cool. Spider Arya, done. Bye. Fire breathe, done.
Yeah. Yeah, because the 5 keys brought the defeat of Argus brought Sargeras to stab the hole, and then that let the Azerite out, and then the Azerite did stuff. My rendition of an abridged version of World of Warcraft wouldn't be very good, it seems. So, yeah, I would need to think on this a while.
Yeah,
it's too metaphorical, and the timelines are a little bit different.
We need to be on actually that whiskey, probably.
Yeah, or at least a reasonable amount of sleep. I think.
So we do have some things from Il'gynoth, the Heart of Corruption. Flesh is his gift.
Yep.
He is your true creator. Obviously, that's Big Nige. To find him, drown yourself in a circle of stars.
Circle of stars, which is Azshara's boss room.
Yep, and Azshara has...
She has now went through the circle of stars and made it through the Umbral Veil.
Mm-hmm. The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn.
Man, this Crystal Maze episode's really good. Get through the circle of stars, the Umbral Veil.
Crystal Maze. Fuck yeah. The Lord of Ravens will turn a key.
Yep.
Gods fall at the turn of a key, said Fate Scribe. Sick. That's one that everyone missed.
Yeah,
Lord of Ravens, people have thought Medivh. Some people said Ravencrest, but I don't think that was taken as seriously. Khadgar, who's now the Guardian.
Yeah.
But what key is he turned? He is back. There's also just the side thing, by the way. Friggin' Medivh, everyone. He's at large in the cosmos doing cosmic things. It would not be absurd to say that whenever Xalatath or Shara come back, that Medivh maybe is involved. Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it. 5 keys open our way. 5 torches light our path. So if we were to... whatever. The hour of their death, she'll usher in our coming. Again, it's like, if Ilaria dies, could Ilaria end up being the conduit of some shit? Could she die in the process of something? Could Locust Walker be involved? Questions. From the earth, he draws his strength. Our earth, our strength. Basically just insinuating a degree of corruption. And its surface blazes bright, masking shadows below the Heart of Azeroth. It's the Heart of Azeroth, everybody. And that's maybe saying that Azeroth's maybe not all good or something.
Heart of Azmerloth.
Yeah.
It is all very much a lot. I think that's saying not an awful lot, to be honest, to say that. I think it's hard to think of it all in totality. I think there's a little bit of... Yes?
It was Famous Grouse whiskey.
Famous Grouse. Interesting. Grouse is pretty good.
I thought it was, okay,
I don't know.
It's Famous Grouse.
Yeah. But no, that is... How many times has Azeroth died? Twice. She's been big hole ripped in her and then stabbed.
Famous Grouse Gold Reserve.
That's what it was.
For the whiskey review channel that we're also on the download doing.
Of course, yes. Very good. Yeah. This is all a lot. This is all just a lot. I am actually, there's a decent chance most of my weekend is sat with all of this burning around in my head trying to figure out something. Oh, Cataclysm as well. Oh, she died 3 times in a minute. Whoops. 3 times.
Did she die in the Cataclysm?
Nah, Cataclysm was just a wee bit spicy.
Yeah, no, she almost did, but she didn't.
Yeah, just a bit spicy.
And, we know that because, in a way, the end time didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, Odin has ravens. Odin's the Lord of Ravens. Because he has the Valkyr, or the
Odin's
the Valkyr.
Big friggin' dickhead.
Big dickhole, yeah. What key is he turning?
Now, if only you had have grabbed that and shook it around so this was like a Star Trek episode.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Oh! Harry Plinkett noises! Whoa! I'm dead. There we go. So hang on. Let's recap that. I'm very sorry, chat. We've probably all got the horrible dizzy aids now.
Oh, as long as no one's watched this in VR, you're okay.
No, it's not Valkyr. Seek.
Bear. Seek.
Yeah.
He lest.
Oh no, it's when
Seek,
their
seek,
mistress beckons.
Their mistress.
9 ravens take flight each.
Hell yeah.
Surprise.
Hell yeah. Because the Valkyr actually Helios.
And Helya is still at large.
She is pretty large, yeah. Yeah.
That's, in the long tradition of big blue women in World of Warcraft.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly.
So, she could obviously play a role. And here's actually the deal. Odin's big dickhead. She doesn't
Sure
like
is.
Odin. We also are beginning to realize Odin's a bit sus. So, all these things obviously could go together. This is obviously just being me and Matt doing a cursory think about the lore. I don't want to
run away. but I can't take it.
spoil Odin. Not Odin. I want to spoil Bane.
Yeah, I would say. What have you got
Right,
on
let
screen?
me pre-screen.
Yeah. Now, have you got? Okay, sure. So, I think we'll make the exact decision not to spoil this. However, I will summarize what I think of it, even though I haven't done it because I only saw Groxy post about it on Twitter. There's certainly elements where people think Bane's character could have been taken, and they weren't taken that way, and that's probably better. However, I think the overall setup of it is very, very good.
Oh, he's
and
aggro.
It adds an
Oh my god.
edge.
He's not bovine Anduin.
It adds an edge to World of Warcraft that hasn't been seen in a while, which I was afraid they would never be willing to add for a character who's supposed to be seen as positive and heroic. Not that it's particularly intense, but I think it's a very good quest line to have if we get a lot more of them going through. And also it's torn stuff. It's very back. It's very. I think we discussed this in the stuff coming up video a while ago, but fundamentally it's like, hey, here's torn stuff. It's torn stuff that is not, here's the new torn that we think are cool. Yeah. It's not here's it's not here's the new stuff that we're doing. It's very much remember Warcraft 3, everyone. We don't because Reforged sucks, but they actually do.
Hey, we're currently 96% positive in Steam.
That's very good.
From what I understand, when we hit 50 reviews, we will become very positive, and if we're able to maintain that similar trajectory by the time we hit 500 reviews, then we will be overwhelmingly positive, which would be really cool.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
What
was I talking about?
It's rare for game number 1 to be a bit of a bagger, isn't it?
Well, that's because it wasn't game number 1.
True, we
It's
just
the game
never
number one
released any
released.
other game.
Yeah. No, I think that's fine. That's very good. That's very good.
It's very good. And the one negative review that we have got thus far did say that the first hour was good. We just kind of fucked up with the save system, which is totally fair criticism, and we are working on it right now. Literally, as we speak. So, yeah. Holy shit. One sec.
Yep, so
I check 1 or 2 things that I have to do.
All right. I'll continue talking about the Torrent then. So fundamentally the thing is this is very much Torrent stuff back in the past. They went through, they built a storyline around him that actually makes sense for his history specifically and includes characters that we haven't even seen in World of Warcraft yet from Warcraft 3 in a way that there's 2 ways you can look at it, right? And I know I've said this quite a bit where it's, you can look at specific language and you can go, okay, you're either doing that intentionally to show us this, or you're doing it intentionally to mislead us down this path. You want us to go down this path, your motives are either positive or negative, or yes or no. In this case, I think that this questline does a good job of being almost like an olive branch in a way, where the literal, and it might be a little bit on the nose, but it is still, hey, you want us to go back to the roots of Warcraft. You want us to respect those roots. You want us to deal with the characters that we maybe left out and didn't really give enough to. Yes, we'll do that. And then they did it in a way that I think respects everything in every way that you could hope for, and also gives a little bit of an edge to a character that we hadn't expected. And in a way that makes complete sense, as opposed to, and suddenly this character is mad about something. It's like, no, this is a way that makes sense. Like someone sat down when they were planning this out and thinking about it, they went, okay, what have we got? Here are the pieces we've got to work with. How do we thread these together in a modern way? How do we pull these together now in a way that makes sense? How do we resolve it? And how can we use that to build a future for the story and add a little bit more to it? And I think that's what they've very much done with it. And I very much look forward to playing it on live. I have long had a tremendous thing for the Tauren. It was the first race I ever played. And I would probably play so today if the Horde and Alliance weren't still like, if there was cross guilds, I'd probably be a Tauren Druid as opposed to a Night Elf. Because I think they're a fantastic race. And that's why I get really excited about the ancestry stuff, about the Shuhalo, about the Eyes of the Earth Mother stories. Because I think, like, Night Elves are fantastic as well. But Tauren are like one of the most unique races. Asterisk, I know it's all Native American stuff. But as someone who doesn't know an awful lot about that, especially when I was younger, saying that and seeing it all represented in this, like, in a way that was shamanistic and a little bit reverent of nature, but also in a way that was, we are mighty, but we are peaceful. That really resonated with me. And the way that they're doing that, where it's, they're no longer being walked over by everyone, which is what the Tauren have largely been in Warcraft. Because even when you see them the first time, it's like, please help us, the Centaur are wrecking us. Please help, orcs, thank you. So I think there's a little bit of doing it justice in a way that I'm biased because it resonates with me, but it's really nice. It's really nice.
Number one, you covered Dead Air for me like an absolute champ, so that's fantastic. Stuff with Pale going really good. Patch 1.2.1 is currently being testing ahead of being pushed live, which I've just tweeted about. And right after that, any changes that we do with the save system, those are like, it's the save system. That is dangerous shit. So in order to cap any downsides, we're going to add a little bit more in-game FAQ and explanation so that even if something is a frustration, somebody's not going to accidentally maybe lose some progress because they haven't been properly informed by the game. And we will do that ahead of perhaps some form of more complete solution to the save issue. It's one of those things, some complexities and downsides of the save system are apparent immediately, but the benefit of the save system is how it is going to allow for a fairly interesting replay experience when you finish the game.
Indeed.
But certainly there are some things that I think we could have predicted and maybe sort of thought of, but kind of didn't weigh enough. But overall, we're sitting at 96% on Steam, so it is currently still very happy days for the team over here. So with that, I guess the only thing I'll say with the Bane thing, just seeing that he has a bit of aggro, my biggest worry with Bane is that they would just make him bovine Anduin, right? Where he
was definitely the fear.
The good soft boy, but, I'm not saying, he's a Tauren, so he has a bestial nature or some crazy shit like that, but he's, he can be pissed when some Centaur, like, think about what the Centaur did, with the Tauren. I think that's good, instead of just everything becoming all very soft and cuddly. It's World of Warcraft! War! You need some of it.
You've been practicing your medicine. Nice.
I can't do it on command. And I think war might be the only word I can do it for, and now my throat is sore. So, let's talk about other things. New class resource tracking coming in patch 10.07.
Yep.
Paladin Holy Power, Warlocks, Soul Shards, and more. This is damn good, tasty news. Right, here's the new Holy Power, everybody. I think the big thing...
The new Holy Power, asterisk, it's in data mining. It might not make it to live at any point soon.
As I take a few crisps. Yum. But yes, it's HD now. Especially if you scale yours up, you'll notice, oh my god, this is like 3 pixels. So that's very GG. Yeah, they do indeed look gorgeous. I hope we'll have an ability to separate it from the player frame via edit mode. And you can replace your weak aura. There you go. That'll be good. So. Soul Shards.
Yeah.
Looking pretty damn fine.
Interesting how they'll handle, or how they seem to be handling, the problem with Soul Shard versus Soul Shard fragments. Because, I don't know if you're familiar with Warlocks, but basically, it's like, here's get 1, you can have 5. Here's 1, you get a 50.
Remember when they made it all embers?
Yeah, and then it was like,
And it felt terrible,
I'm
and then
so
they
shards.
immediately took it back to being shards
yeah.
again.
But you can still have the floaty fire things above your head, so it's
Oh
good.
yeah. Then we've got rogue combo points.
Yep.
So some
yeah,
nice.
they need the blue and the red worked in for the wait, what's the red one? I forget. The blue one is the what do you call it? The anima charged. I forget what the red one is. You can tell I maybe didn't quite go through with my hope to play rogue this expansion very much. I played better rogue. Feldred.
DK runes.
Nice, very nice.
Look at those
Dreadblades.
finals, like those are nice and crispy.
Dreadblades are.
Feral cat.
Yeah, oh, those are very pretty, very nice.
Monk chi. Very tasty. So overall, this is a small thing, but this is going to matter for everyone.
It is, yep.
Oh, echoing.
Yeah, the blue one's Acron Reprimand.
Oh, yeah.
The red ones.
So, yes, this will matter for everyone. Just a bit of the game got better for everyone. And it's one of those things, you go into a game, and if you can feel the cobwebs, sometimes that's not the best initial feeling.
It's awful, yeah.
Unless you're diving into a game and you know to expect the cobwebs, and they're like cozy, nostalgic cobwebs. Not that there's a nostalgia spider that's going to kill you. But in this case, I think the more that WoW can actually feel nice, clean, crisp, that matches its excellent responsive gameplay.
Yeah.
Which I know some people will be like, hey, look what he just said, that's very clown-worthy. No, like WoW's hockey combat is really responsive.
It seriously
some
is.
of the best.
And that's what I think is almost been a little bit of a heel turn for me. Not a heel turn. What's up with the face turn? Where the playing this tier of Dragonflight versus playing the last couple tiers of Shadowlands, I'm like, I see. Okay. Bear with me. I'm going to explain this in a weird way. The game was good all along as a game to play. It's just that there was just I guess I would say it is, the way you look into a room and it's full of stuff and you're like, this room's awful. Mm-hmm. But then you remove all the stuff and you go, actually the floor underneath that's a really nice carpet once it's cleaned up. That's a really nice paint job once you open the windows and let some light in. And that's what it feels like where Dragonflight has been like the light's been let in. You go, oh, this is actually kind of pretty. But for the combat system, because I really disliked playing a lot of stuff in Shadowlands. I did the first tier was like okay, playing Holy Paladin. But a lot of stuff just irked me in a bunch of ways. But playing now, I'm like, this is very much, there's a bunch of what seems like lag reduced in a lot of places. I haven't had problems like that at all.
Preach doesn't need his big bag of dice.
Yeah, versus BFA, I have none of those problems whatsoever.
I remember, I don't know when this was, but it was people being like, hey, why is WoW breaking in this classic footage? And that private server's running fine.
That's still a consideration, to be honest.
That was very funny.
That's a big consideration. I have been in some slight downtime this week. I've been a very naughty boy. And I've been doing some exploration of things.
You've been a very naughty boy.
Slightly, yes. I might talk about this at some point in time after I've explored
well, actually,
more. But
Nixium. Nixium did a video on private servers recently.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but his video is just about hey, seemingly there's shit working in private servers.
Yeah, plenty.
Can Blizzard learn lessons? Here's another funny thing. Mm-hmm. Ascension are advertising on Twitter.
Oh, I see Ascension advertisements all the time. And that may have something to do with me being a naughty boy.
I see them. I haven't been naughty. Are you trying to rub your naughtiness off upon me?
No.
Matt's corrupting people. Watch out.
No, I think the combat system is getting better for sure.
I wonder though.
I think that's part of the timeless element of it, as well as how this raid and dungeons have been way better with utility. Way better with use the class ability you have, which is the engine. Yeah, the engine that World of Warcraft was built for World of Warcraft, and the way it works with all of the ability movement, all the class movement, all your movement is better than most other games. Obviously, other games have different combat models and they do different things, and they use that in different ways, where you don't expect Guild Wars 2 to play like World of Warcraft because it's literally built in a different engine, different combat design,
floaty,
really different design entirely. I think that's really a thing that the team have finally. And I admit I haven't watched the interviews that Preach put out yet, the full ones. I've literally just not gotten around to it. But I think there was an interview with a either relatively new or recently promoted combat guy, I think. And that was very much a huge this is actually big, a lot of good ideas, a lot of good thoughts. And I think you can see that very clearly where they finally like refined and found what their game looks like in the modern sense.
Yeah.
And it's way better than I thought that team would be capable of, to be honest. In terms of design, they've really cleaned things up. If they can keep their... Yeah, I love something about World of Warcraft, though, where the button presses just feel good. That's why I can't play ranged. Because I just like how melee feels. I sort of can sometimes, but there's sometimes where nah, casting, nah. Like, I've been playing a little bit of Devastation Evoker, just level up to 70. I just been like, no, this is not it.
Yeah, I've always
having
just
to cast
had that
Living
feeling.
Flame. No,
I have more fun by default.
Yeah.
On melee. And you know what the funny thing is? I played range my entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I always do find there's something about melee that's just more fun by default.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I play that's why I've always played Druid. I've been Feral for most of my time, or Resto if I need to heal. That's why I play Prop Paladin, Rap Paladin. That's why I play DK. That's why I play those. I don't like the squishy melee classes very much. I like them more a little bit, but I really, really just like how it feels. I think that's something World of Warcraft has. It's kind of special, to be honest, for it.
Yeah, totally. So, 1007 PTR. Let's talk about some of the data mining then. From the Zaralek Caverns, we have new Recruiter Friend rewards coming into the game, more Rat Paladin, and some profession quality of life. So, let's go into this. By the way, the FPS issue on this, we will have fixed. Wasn't it USB resources last time?
It was USB resource last time, which cannot be the case now whatsoever.
Oh, really? Is this going into a dongle?
No.
What's it going into?
You see there's nothing else in that controller?
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't USB resources.
Unless it's a cable or something funny's happening.
That's a good... Well, okay, this cable does 100 watts. I don't know if it does, like, Thunderbolt 4 speed. Not that it needs Thunderbolt 4 for this.
Yeah. Sorry, this will be solved very quickly.
Hello, please.
Hello. Okay. Please be patient.
Technical issues. Please understand.
No? Still... Scripty?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Very interesting.
Very good, very funny. I like this.
Haha. All right,
I like this.
New location appeared on the PTR. We don't know where or what it is. It's likely tied, though, to the story. Now, accompanying with this is a new quest page background art asset that's made specifically for this location. I always love it when they play around with the UI to signify something being a bit different.
Yeah,
now, these background pages are usually only done for different chapters of a main storyline, major zones, that sort of thing. But what's interesting, though, quest background, Dragonflight, Zaralek Cavern.blp. In the same way you'd have quest background, Dragonflight, Waking Shore.blp. Here's a look at some of the other ones. So whatever's going on in this Zaralek place warrants a new bit of paper.
Yeah,
so probably a new campaign step, main quest location. Our next thing then, in what I think will almost certainly be something that will decrease cosmetic-driven Recruit a Friend sales. The patch 1007 splash screen has seemingly got some new Goblin-themed Recruit a Friend bonuses. There's seemingly a Sappy Buddy, a Scanner Mark III, and a Shredderizing Glove. Now, the things seen in the picture are just the pet and amount. We can't be sure about anything. But also then, kind of wondering about seasonal Recruiter Friend, because based on some recently data mined strings, it also seems that they're introducing seasonal rewards that, I suppose we'll get for different seasons.
Interesting.
So, look, ultimately, I think the thing here is everybody, and I think I don't know if it's the form 10K or whatever earnings call related form it is, but WoW subs are actually down.
Yes, what a surprise.
WoW is experiencing better retention from the people who are there, but they just didn't get the sales. And ultimately, it's that sort of thing where often it's not how hard you row, it's what boat you're in. It doesn't matter how fast a swimmer you are. If you're going against the current, it's going to be harder. You're going to make less progress. I think ultimately we can talk. Maybe Matt will do a bonus little quick segment about that, just to explain to people like how can the expansion be good but also get less sales. And it's almost like, there's loads of 10 out of 10 indie movies that completely demolish like other movies in terms of quality, but at the end of the day, they have more broad. Other things have more broad appeal.
And also, we have an anecdote that might line up perfectly.
Do we?
So we do, yeah.
I don't know what the anecdote is.
Guess we'll see when we get to the bonus segment.
Matt has a free anecdote, everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dark Soul 9669. Thank you for the super. Man, this content would be a perfect place for them to let Drakthir unlock the Emberthal Black Dragon skins. Now that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Sure, it would be. It's the perfect time. I think
Yeah, that just makes sense.
There is a small part of me that assumes that that's been a little bit in the back pocket, at least in some capacity. I assumed as much. The fact that they don't have that stuff up front is very like, yeah, you know you're going to do it. And especially the way that they have it worked into the story does make me think, yes, I see. Things are actually going. They may be smarter than we give them credit for in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not to say we should give them loads of credit they haven't earned yet. They do have to earn back the credit by proving things first. Which I think it'll be a hard lesson to learn. But Cryan puts it down perfectly. Yeah, you're only as popular as your last product. Cinema's learning this too. They're very much... Games are learning that. Games are learning that, especially as games take 5 to 6 years to develop. They're learning that, where it's like, oh shit, we just wrecked everything. And getting back is going to be like, to be honest, like the duration of a CEO's tenure in some companies, or, is someone going to stick around for 5 to 6 years to see it, or will they leave? And that's one of the considerations I think we're at. But yeah.
Good. The Pale-related scuttlebutt continues to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of butts, Paladins' butts have been sore because they've been sitting down for so long, and finally in this patch they're accelerating. I tried really hard for that segue. So we got some more Paladin changes. I wonder, is Wings of Liberty going to be here? Or is Wings of Liberty, in fact, just a cruel joke played upon the Paladins? So, not as many changes this week to the Paladin and Ret trees, but there are some. Loads of bugs fixed. Bunch of new talents added. Also some stuff, they've moved some existing utility and survivability choices from the Ret tree to the class tree, like Healing Hands and Unbound Freedom.
Yay! Unbound Freedom!
So that'll probably be pretty good then for opening up your options as a Ret Paladin. That's kind of nice. But other than that then, there's some tuning, shifting around some nodes. These are like a lot of the things that they're not exciting to talk about, but when you actually go to build your character, they're bloody important.
They're super important.
I mean, how many specs are there where you have, it almost feels like you have zero wiggle room in like where you can move or your ability to tweak a bit from the core build that you want?
Funny, I've noticed that. I've noticed that on Drakthir, actually. I've
can
noticed
see
that I don't really have much, but like some of that is because some parts are super valued more than others. But I just feel like, I'm kind of stuck here. Whereas I don't feel that in Druid at all. I feel like I have a lot more freedom to move around whichever way I want for the utility side of things. It's like everything else is like, nah, it's not very good. I don't like that. What was the other one I was playing? Because Paladin feels that way, but Paladin is really bad for the minute. What else was I playing? DK feels good for that. Except for there's too much power on the capstones. But there's a little bit of moving around the middle, it's okay. I'm sure I played something else. Yeah, Monk feels a little bit limited in that, again, because there's loads of power on the capstones. So you can't take stuff out of the bottom to move it across. Whereas Druid, as an example, Innervate's very good. Nature's Vigil's very good. But sometimes you don't need healing, or sometimes there's a load of Druids in your group, or sometimes you're not in that kind of group. So you just go, I will happily take a couple percentage damage taken less, or a bit more movement speed, or my the extra healing for regrowth based on damage dealt, that kind of stuff. I'll take that more.
So to go through just some of the new talents then.
Yep.
Vanguard of Justice. Your single target holy power abilities cost 1 additional holy power and deal 20% more damage with 2 ranks. So I guess you could... Oh! Whoa! So every Templar's Verdict costs 5 power and does 40% more damage.
Womp.
Have they done that as a way to allow you to have a more holy power generating build? Because the way one of the criticisms people have had has been, like the amount of holy power being generated.
Yep.
So I guess then this actually means you can talent yourself. Again, I'm not a Ret Paladin, I'm just spitballing, but you could talent yourself towards, shall we say, rigid perfect play versus wiggle room play, where, you know, you have 2 extra holy power in the tank because it only costs 3, but you can gen 5. So that's fascinating.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, Dagger said one of the feedback things he's been having is that he
here's his happy box.
so much.
Then Divine Wrath, which is the Avenging Wrath / Crusade duration, increased by 3 seconds. I think people won't say no to that. Executioner's Will has been redesigned, now increasing the duration of execution, sentence, and final reckoning by 3 seconds.
Yeah, opening windows so they last longer is always a good thing for like the punishment kind of angle of things. I think it does also does increase skill ceiling a bit. I think because someone who can pump for 11 seconds is better than someone who can pump for 8 for pure damage in that sense. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good changes overall.
Yeah, so happy Palace. Next, though, Professions. This is one of the simultaneous wins and losses of this expansion, where I think a lot of the fundamentals of the Professions have been really good, but we've had some worries about catch-up. We've had some worries about kind of borking a build. I think the fantasy of the deeper Professions and the way that the crafting works has probably went down quite well. People feel like there's so much more game to like get involved with. There's so much more progression to have. But it's been a big issue of quality of life. So let's see how Blizzard are trying to do this. Professions have undergone quite a few changes in the most recent build, ranging from actual systems changes to smaller UI ones. Customers will no longer be required to provide all non-soulbound reagents for public orders, much like how personal orders work. So that basically means you can place your order and a crafter could choose to grab the mats themselves and do the order. I think this is quite likely Blizzard wanting to decrease the amount of friction needed for a prospective craftee to actually make an order, because I think Blizzard are realizing, hang on a second, there's just a few levels too much friction for crafting orders being made, and that is leading to issues with how many people are actually engaging with the work order system overall. This is absolutely a system that has a positive network effect. So the more people use it, the more useful it is to everybody, right? More people feel like they can quickly have their order fulfilled, and then more people, who are crafters will just think like, oh, great, I don't have to worry about a bunch of bozo non-crafters having to go look at the recipe, find out what it is, probably by going to Wowhead, and then buying all the mats, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you could just, you could track it on the work order thing, but, fewer steps, leave the reagent-related things to the crafter. So I think this is a good change. Also, the main crafting window has been made slightly smaller, the location of the optional reagents has changed, and summary screens have been added to each of the specializations.
Yeah. So I would say that actually has an additional effect that it'll be interesting. And it actually adds a cost to public order. Because if people stop throwing up mats, then you have to put up the mats. So if someone just throws an order up and goes, to hell with you, I'm not giving you a big commission, I'm just throwing this up, then you get to go, oh, well, I guess I'll put up the mats if I want the public order, because doing a public order is something that is valuable to the person doing the work. So it does kind of even the odds there of it being, it's not just a benefit for free at someone else's cost.
Oh,
It's literally, you have to put a little bit of money in there to instead of just snapping them all up immediately. Or if you're prepared to get them faster.
I do think it is wise to increase participation in the system.
100%, yep. 100%.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. As for the window resizing, here it is. I think that's good.
Small change, but important, so you can see your bags and see everything else.
Absolutely, yeah. And also, just to look at that, we can see how these layouts are changing. I don't necessarily like that more.
Well, that allows them to make it smaller in future if they need to.
If they can, yeah, fair.
Yep.
So there you go. There's also, by the way, a forbidden meta achievement title for just doing all of the things in the zone. So, with that, cosmetics!
Love it.
Love it. Let's talk about what all of these happy people will have for us.
Gloves.
We have evening gloves. Gloves of the night. People will love that.
I'm going to be honest, putting those gloves on seems like a massive nightmare.
You know the way it's that thing of like whenever someone's jeans get stuck in their butt, and then, they've got to be all like, and then they finally pull their jeans up.
Yeah. I'm more thinking it's like, what it's like.
It's going to be like that. You're like, I mean, for you, you're going to be like, no, my biceps are too muscular for my evening gloves.
Yeah. That's like if you're trying to.
This mat's getting bigger, everybody.
Yeah,
It's
if there's
terrifying.
any like, if you're trying to take off like compression tights or something, or put them on, you're just like, this does not work. This is very annoying. How are you supposed to do this? I don't know. That's just my first thought. Going, yeah. Why would you have those gloves? What's the point?
Matt, for the evening.
Yeah, but when do I'm gonna regret asking this. When do you need gloves that go past like there?
Well, Matt, I'm glad you asked.
When you're
No,
when do you need them? Except for when
you're wearing a dress?
When
I
you're
don't know.
putting your arms in, like, you know, you're at work and
Listen,
you're putting it
maybe you
into
have
some
to do some
suit or
lambing.
something like.
Maybe you have to do some
Yeah, but
lambing,
not
and
in your
sometimes
evening
you just
gloves.
have to go up there and do a big rummage. And it could happen in the evening because, god damn it, lambing happens all the time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it's evening gloves. It's very high style.
Have I heard of style? How dare you? Clearly, I haven't. Jesus. I am usually quite stylish. I'll have you know.
Oh yes.
Comparatively, you should see the fucking people around here.
If you want to look like you're an undead, you could wear the white grey evening gloves. If you want to look like you are going to,
Yo, those are kind of cool. Actually,
if you ever want to do, kind of look like you're going to fuck someone and then kill them. I think the black gloves are really good for the sort of like sultry, evil, sort of stabby look.
the Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
got burgundy. We've got purple. Now that is purple. That's purple. And because it's just painted onto her arms, it does kind of look like she's a purple person. We got pink. We've got blue, turquoise, green, yellow.
How are they stylishly long gloves?
Red, brown. And also, for, you know, if you're the kind of person who goes to the World War II reenactment as Op4 and maybe gets just a little bit too into it, you could have these Scarlet Crusade cosmetics. If you ever want to go and... Yes. You can get the Scarlet Zealot's heater shield, the Scarlet Zealot's cloak, and the Scarlet Zealot's cassock. Whatever a cassock is. I don't know what a cassock is. But anyway...
Goes on your chest.
Goes in your chest. There you go. Hey, why not? The Scarlet's like a pretty cool look, so fair enough. But here's what the heater shield looks like. It was all originally called NPE Weapon Shield 2.
Experience,
Which is kind of similar to NPE Weapon Shield 1, or something that was randomly off the Lords of Dread for a reason. Here is the Scarlet Zealot's cloak. No, it's not, but this is the Warfront cloak that looked really cool. Imagine that in red. And of course, here's the cassock.
Ah, yes.
Oh my god,
Yo.
you gotta be a badass priest. So here's the thing, everyone.
Yo, give me one of them.
I have a massive spot for fucking badass priests. I've already talked before about how I want to make a series of romantic novels following Father. Because if it's a romantic novel, it has to be cheesy, right? So I need a name like, Father Mason Savage. But the thing is, he's a monk, so or not a monk, he's a priest. So he's celibate. And that is what we go for, right? Because from all of the understanding of media, we know that ladies like it low and slow. For a while, it needs to be teased and built
Like
up.
a good beef brisket, yeah.
That's it, precisely. And that is why Father Mason Savage, who, he's obviously got to be an ex-SEAL Team 6 priest.
Of course, yeah. From the other novels.
He served as a chaplain for the SEALs. I don't know.
Fantastic.
Yes, that's it. He saved the Pope's life multiple times. He fights demons. Basically, imagine just a cool... Yeah, anyway. So, I just have a weakness for priests. I really hope that movie with Speaky Man from The Gladiator... What's he called? It's called... Some horror movie where Russell Crowe does a European accent and, I don't know, fights the devil. Which I'm just like, oh, this is going to be Kino as fuck!
What are you talking about? I have no idea.
Look, I just think that if you can put your character in one of these, then your character is going to be going around as a disciplined priest, fucking doing cool shit.
Or a holy paladin is a bit too quick with a sword.
There we go. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Well done.
Well done, yeah.
Get this man a job.
By the way,
These are sick, yeah.
these are so cool. These are simple weapons originally added alongside Exile's Reach back in the Lands of the Shadow, but they never became available. Now they're going to be, and boy howdy do these look awesome. And it's the kind of thing where, like, would it be nice if we got these by doing some in-game content? Yeah, sure. But if you can get them by just getting some traders' tendies, by doing the challenges and stuff, why the hell not, right? Especially because when you look at their costs, this is actually the one thing that I was happy about. You know, these are all fairly affordable, like 100 for a two-handed sword for the Honed Bastard Sword. Where are you, you bastard? Again, a lot of people like simple. You know, for me, like, let's just say you want your character to have a sort of Geralt of Rivia look. That's very hard to do within World of Warcraft. And obviously this would be too chunky to achieve that. But if you just kind of want to look like a knight who's not all ridiculous and shiny, this is it. A sinister foul staff like Gul'dan's walking stick.
Color-wise, I'll line up with the storm set. The plate storm set.
We have a liquid transfer apparatus.
Bouquet.
A bouquet. A primeval basher. Let's go. So there you go. Some new things being added to the post. I think overall the post is a great system. It will help keep World of Warcraft healthy. So let's be real. The game is at the best it's been since Legion, but its numbers ain't. So the more shit like this, frankly, we're at the stage where WoW's actually good. The team deserves success. If things like this help them get that success, and that means we can continue to get more game. I mean, imagine if we had more raid tiers like Vault of the Incarnates. Would that not be great? Like, even if you're purely a raid logger and that's the only way you want to engage with WoW, that would still be really cool. And now we're talking about solo Q Mythic Plus.
Yep, please, thank you. Conversation over, goodbye.
Done.
Yeah, no, like, realistically, solo QM Plus is definitely way healthier in the long term. Yeah. What?
I'm just going to check this one second.
Sure. Yeah, I think fundamentally it should very much be that way. Even as a trial, even if they want to trial it like Solo Shovel does, because I think there's so much... I was wondering why I looked a little bit dim in the face. Nikki stole our pancake and we didn't turn it back on. Anyway, yes. You're right, Dark Soul. They would need to rework the system to be based on climbing levels instead of actual keys. Because ratings there, it just makes sense. The only problem is, how do you do key selection? Like, how do you literally do that? Because you can't just random for a key, because that would suck. But you can't select the key, because then people would randomly select. So unless you literally just do random key, that said, you might be able to do it on actual keys, because I guess you could have a button which is queue up for your key, and a button queue up for someone else's key. Maybe within a range of 2 to 3 or something like that. And that would work. I think. I'll just go see. Obviously, you're busy. I'll go see if I can find if there's anything specifically brought up. Oh yeah, it's so fundamentally it is about how impossible it is as a casual player to get in, and I haven't actually been able to experience this fully because I haven't really had the time to do much M+ on my Paladin yet, because I wanted to do this thing where I would play it completely red, no like friends, no pug or just pugs, without bothering to go like cheat basically. What can I do that would be okay? I'm gonna go through, and every time I've started, it's been like, I guess when I'm playing on my Feral Druid, M+ is very simple. I sign up, I get accepted, we go. Because I have a high enough rating. Feral Druids are relatively wanted for our damage, and also I have a high level. On my Paladin though, I have no gear and no rating, which means I don't get selected for anything, which means I do not get to play the game. Basically, I don't get to play what I want to do. And it's like Kaji says, with 2k you get rejected for 14. Why is that? Well, that's because someone there was probably better, or perceived better based on stats. And all that really means then is that that's a frustrating experience for you, especially that happens to you all day long. And a solo thing would solve that, where it is just you press the button, you queue, off you go, you play the game, that's it. There are obviously a ton of downsides. Like Akaria says, 15 and above, people are risk averse, and that'll be a little bit difficult. But it's the quickest and easiest way to settle. The only... you might have a problem with levers But then you can do the same thing as solo shuffle and go, right, well, we punish leavers. People who leave get punished. They get, they're not allowed to queue up for again, etc., etc., etc. Something like that. You can handle key selection through either your own key or random key, and people will just queue for it and go for it and go, oh, I got this today, sweet, whatever. Maybe even split it into groups or something like that for handy. Or even you go, okay, right, then why do you do, let me think of an example. Trying to think of a decent example. Yeah, so every 5 you do, you get one where you get to pick a key. Every 10 you do, you get to when you pick a key and the level. Something like that to kind of incentivize it a little bit further. And yeah, Carrie has a good point again, saying the bigger problem is why would tanks healers use this? 2 reasons. Number 1, it's the only way to in a future world. Or 2, heavy incentives. And I think that would just be, imagine if this were a world where you could have, say, uncapped valor. Then you could offer bonus valor.
Oh,
you
baby.
could say, tanks and healers get double valor for using this. Off you go. And then tanks and healers got to go, yeah, I'll do that. Now, people may not do it for pushing like super heavy keys, but I think that's fine. I think selection in that case makes sense. Like, you would then go, okay, well, then get... Or yeah, even exactly that, Dakor, where it's like, tanks and healers always get... Not even like the call to arms, but just always tanks and healers get armor. It's done. People do it. People do it for incentives. So I think that would sort that out more or less perfectly. Especially if you start to... if you start to think of, I guess... Like, what other problems are there? People will just do premiums for the super high keys. People won't do premiums for the low keys. Incentivize enough, people do it. Bonus valor. Do you want to have a little spanner in the works of not being able to select your key, but you get a load of bonus valor? People do that. People run 2s for valor if they feel a little bit there just to get it up. Just to get a little bit of that valor in there. And if you want to... keep, like, level selection might be the hardest part of there. I don't know. It seems like it'd be a great way to get started doing keys. How do you prevent or reduce the key lever issue? If you leave a key, you get sent straight to hell. You get sent straight to hell. I mean, in-game hell. You just get, 30 minutes, not allowed. Not allowed to sign up for group. You're banned from the pre-made group finder. A kind of, yeah, sorry, you don't get to play. You get to do world quests for 30 minutes or go make dinner. That's it. Those are your options. I think that might work. Because the issue is, like, well, yeah, Vlad is the point of it saying low eye level people get boosted and the valor caps removed and everyone does bonus valor runs in M2 to M6. That's because the current valor system isn't balanced around uncapped valor. They would need to increase valor for key level. And you could even do that in, you could even do that in, like, the system in the design. Because this isn't slap it on, done. This is how do we redesign this system to make more sense in that context? How do we redesign everything? How do we build a system from scratch that will work instead of operating under the problems we currently have that we can't really get rid of? I think. So yeah, I don't even know there's too much more to say about that. To be honest, I think it's because the examples we have here, just the wall frustration, it's the problem. I mean, I'll actually go through. Are you still using your looking stuff? Okay.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, sweet. So I'll go through a couple of what Dakor had written down here, because that might make sense. How could solo queue solve the wall of frustration of low people not being able to do keys or people being a little bit wrong? Queue up and join groups of similar M+ scores as you at a key level fitting. And there you go. It's like, oh yeah, your rating depicts or is what you're based on. You get put into almost in the same way you get skill-based matchmaking. Say you're 1498. You get put into people who are 1400 to 1600, and you are in there with them doing something that will get you the right bonus. Maybe it'll be like a little bit dodgy, but even though you go then okay, it's a 13 whatever, it's a 14, 50, whatever. There's a little bit of like smartness of, hey, we'll throw on a little bit of sometimes this is good for you, sometimes it's not perfect for you, but it's like the longer you wait, the more the what are called spreads. The range is willing to do spreads, and then you end up with, actually working overall. Leaving could also tank your M plus score. Tank your social score. Social score.
Social credit score. There is a bit of it like don't be a dickhead number that you could see a degree of value in.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that would be interesting. And yeah, that's another thing where Decker points out should be in the maybe 2 to 15 keystone level range. I would say maybe 2 to 20, just because that's where the game is going, and it should be almost in the same way you can premium heroic, but not, cross-round mythic. In that sense, where it's clearly this is acceptable for this kind of gameplay, but not really the done thing for this kind of gameplay, and just make it codified that way. But I also want to go up to 20 for gear reasons, and then people could just queue for 20. Queue for 20. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Are you going to be in there with people who have not been carried because they can't be carried in this system? Especially if you give people like a split score. Here's your premium score. Here's your solo queue score. Which is the same way you can do in like say League does it for the 5v5s versus the like ranked solo versus ranked premium. There you go. That might be a bit annoying, a bit awkward, but you could almost certainly do that. It'd be fine. It would be fine, I think.
And with that, I'm done.
How do you fix the problem? People who won't join a guild, use voice chat, learn their class, or watch a video queuing for high queues. Way more toxic than people leaving keys because they don't want their... Well, I don't know what that's going to finish up. That's a challenge. That's a culture issue. You can't really solve that problem. You just have to make the game not for them, or give them other things to do so they don't go into M+, I think, fundamentally. Instead of solo queue, what about a solo dungeon? Different experience. Mm-hmm. Different experience, different sort of gameplay. I would love to see some of those, but that's kind of there. Put how many times they left on their player tag permanently and let people choose whether to kick them from their crewed group before you get in, effectively increasing their queue for being rude. Social credit score.
I know the idea of that, like, will spook people, but this isn't IRL. This is in a video game.
Yeah, I guess.
It's in the same way, like, so many MOBAs have the naughty queue, where it's like if you're a total dickhead, you'll go in the junk queue for a while, and you will be playing with other junk players.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like that'll definitely hurt your, hurt you in some ways, but you may benefit in other ways, and if that means more people feel like they can just go play your game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can definitely see the positives, but also like DPS queues. Thinking about solo shuffle, of course, where in solo shuffle the struggle is incentivizing healers to join up.
That's a struggle.
How would you deal with group comp, things like blood loss, battle res, interrupt dispels, etc.? Is it the case where it's only random? It only goes up to +10, or it's capped in some way. Hard to say.
No, you wouldn't do that. That'd be fucking pointless.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it is harder in the way that the Mythic Plus system works. So, I mean, we got a happy Gingy. We've got a less happy Tattles.
Yep.
We've got a happy Nawa. Happy Dorky. Cyber.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just queue up and slam.
Cyber.
Just queue up and slam. That's it.
Slam go.
That would be fantastic. That would make my life way easier.
So many of those what ifs. Is it one of those things, if you do not have a if you do not have a Bloodlust, Blizzard could give you one somehow.
Make drums better.
They could make drums better.
Not ideal, but better.
Yeah, or maybe...
Why is it 15%? Like, make it 25.
Or maybe there's a 15% that you can just get from a vendor in the dungeon or something as a little, prep staging area. Who exactly knows, but there could be a way for Blizzard to cap the downsides, still make class identity matter, but then give people the approachability, angle of the game. So it's an interesting discussion.
Yeah, I think I'd love to think about it more and love to see it added.
So next then, we've got 13 hidden rares. Grindable Artisan's Metal. Now this,
Massive,
interesting.
Huge.
You can spawn new rares in 1009 with your professions. How do you do this? Let's see. Alright, so based on the map alone, you may have thought there's only 16 new realms, but there's actually another 13 hiding away, tied behind these new Artisan's Curio items. So these were data mined, we had no idea what they were about, but now we sort of know. So these can be gathered or crafted by all primary gathering and crafting professions, plus fishing and cooking. They can be traded and used by players that don't actually have the profession that made it. The items that are needed to craft Artisan's Curios are soulbind, though. The recipes that allow you to craft them can be purchased from a new vendor in basically the new village that you're at, and which is an Artisan's Quarter. Oh my god. Sorry, it's been a long day. Artisan's Consortium Quartermaster. They cost 10 metal each, and they require at least 50 skill in the profession. Now, how are these rare or hidden? So in order to gain access to them, you need to interact with various objects around the island. To do that, you need to obtain the curios, right? Like the ceremonial trident, tuning fork, glowing crystal bookmark, etc. These seem to spawn in a selection of random locations across the reach, so there'll probably be a map or, it'll be a discoverable thing. But the thing is that these drop the usual rare items like Elemental Overflow, gear tokens, upgrade items, and Azshara vault keys, but also 5 Artisan's Metal.
5. Massive.
Big. So basically, you could just go do a bunch of these. Now, if these are reset every day, if you're completely mad, you could get 455 metal per week on all of your crafters. If you want to. There's also unstable elementium, which is of equal or maybe even more importance, because there's a rare mob called Amethyst.
Amethyst, yep.
Yes. This rare mob has a chance of dropping the recipe for crafting unstable elementium. The item needed to upgrade your primordial stones from their baseline item level 411 all the way up to 424. These can only be crafted by jewel crafters, so you'll have to hit up the trade chat or the work order system to get upgraded if you are not one yourself. Of course, elementium, that is what Deathwing's armor was made out of. Mm-hmm. So,
indeed.
To finish it off, what is our community discussion of the week?
Better way of getting sparks? Yeah. Give us more sparks, thank you.
So,
that's the answer. We need more sparks.
Reported by a Redditor, but also something most people likely be able to agree with, is the low drop chance of your sparks of ingenuity. Right? There's Flex talking about that. Entirely absurd that people have seen 0-1 on their account after 60 plus mythic bosses, 80 dungeons, and various other events.
I haven't seen one at all. Not one.
So, a lot of people are kind of wondering, like, does this work? Is it a bug? Right? They're confused.
Yeah, it's very Legion Legendary, where it's just completely, does this drop? Yeah, there's no, tracking. There's no way of knowing it's ever going to drop. It's just, oh, sorry. Is this balanced with, real bad luck protection? Is this balanced so people who, say, have a drop chance of, well, you finish a dungeon, there's 1 dice roll. You pick up a treasure, there's 2 dice rolls. You kill the mythic raid boss, there's 3. Is every dice roll equal? Is that balanced? Do people only get them if they go around farming every treasure on the map every day? It's kind of hard to know. It is just a little bit. It'd be nice if there was a little bit more of a. Say you gather currency for doing something and that'd be balanced. But then too much currency.
Someone's saying they got 3 from World or Weekly quests yesterday. Not everybody's had this experience.
Yeah, not all dice roll equally.
Then for some, they're talking about bloody tokens. A lot of issues that are lingering now that, time's passed, making them account-wide, maybe adding in some item, some cost sync items, that kind of thing. The idea, hey, I have 6,000 bloody tokens. What the bloody hell do I do with them? So either give them to alts to help the alts get gear, or maybe spend them on some, something that gives you some form of useful resource. Also, a dinar vendor for raids or Mythic Plus items. People did enjoy that in Season 4. Now, Blizzard did say that Season 4 was just an experiment, but a lot of people, I think, are quite obviously looking at this and thinking, yes, please. And hell, in Shadowlands, we got used to very long seasons, didn't we?
We really did, yeah. Really did. And then 4 was the best and really short.
4 was 4 months?
Something like that, is way shorter than the rest.
I don't think a dinar vendor would hurt the game.
No, wouldn't.
And especially if there was some form of dinar catch-up in your alts, or, a way to get the dinars faster in your alts. I think for a lot of players, that would make them feel, oh, fuck yeah, I've done this thing in my main character, but people say this class is popping off this patch, Rat Paladins as an example, maybe I'll give it a shot and I can get there quick.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Huge. Do it, please.
So, also a drop rate of dungeon trinkets. Some sort of... Now, this is one of those things. You wouldn't do it by currency, but the idea that you could get an item, maybe a little token or something.
Maybe a totem?
A totem.
Totem, maybe you call it.
Would
I don't know why you'd call it that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of some form of fantasy wherein this exists, but nothing's coming to mind.
No, you might have to go through another 13 iterations. And it might be the last one you think about.
Maybe I will, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think 15 would be too far.
15, no, you
Far
wouldn't.
too far.
Yeah, too much.
I wouldn't be for speaking about that.
No.
Such a fucking half of a person got that, and even they are embarrassed.
Oh, yep. Fucking Luminous Studios.
Additional
Pack of
sources of
bastards.
augment runes, eh?
No, remove them. They're pointless. They're shit.
There we go. Skip that topic. I guess that's the weird thing about augment runes. They are just I don't know. Are you the Saudi prince that wants to do 0.1% more damage?
It's money. It's just money redistribution from mythic raiders to tanks and healers. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. That's all it is. There's no
nice.
no
John
about
has
it.
tabbed over. Hopefully for playing the Pale Beyond. Thank you, John.
Oh yeah, he literally
To say that
is.
this is in fact very cringe. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because he just said, and I hope he doesn't mind if I quote him. Week 28, and I've realized how fucked my run is, and probably will have to restart. Cock. Yeah.
Hey, it's balanced to be. You can get a pretty much perfect run.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Also, 20 minutes earlier, he said, week 21, enjoy it while you can, boys. I think it
that's
might
the
be
thing.
getting challenging.
Yeah. We kind of... Well, we didn't want ludonarrative dissonance. We wanted it to be hard because it should be. You know?
Game about it being hard can't be easy.
That's it. I mean, it's
Oh,
one of those
sorry.
things.
Game about being hard. That's the other game you're working on.
If we decide that a slightly easier mode would make sense, or maybe a slightly harder mode or something, then perhaps, basically we'll gather ourselves next week. We'll kind of say, right, where are we with the game? What things do we need to patch? What do we need to fix? And what do we do now? And certainly anything to improve the current experience will be on the cards for that. Very happy though. We're still sitting at a 96% on Steam,
Also,
which is fucking shocking for a debut game. What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah, very happy people around here.
Well, I do think, just to be clear, I think enjoy it while you can, boys, is not about it getting worse. I think it's about getting a little bit more.
We just went up the charts.
more squeaky.
We're 15.
15.
Currently, we are ahead of Football Manager 23, Rainbow Six
Yo.
Siege, and Lost Ark. But we are behind War Thunder, Rust, and Destiny 2 Lightfall. With Octopath Traveler, of course, notching up a few stages, because that game is fucking awesome.
You know what? At least among some people, it's fine. Because another one of our guildies just said, I came off to have a break, but all I wanted to do is load back up again, so here I go. Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Which one?
Our Resident Warlock.
Good man.
Good man.
Chevron's locked. Off to go.
There's actually even more commentary, with one saying, so tired, need to go to brush teeth and go to bed, but want to fall asleep in chair to pale title theme, but I've already quit the game. Nice. Also, yeah, it's fucking lit.
Yes, the one soft... Okay, I just... So don't, tab over. But good news, can confirm the issue is resolved. Thanks for updating so quickly.
Big, huge
Thomas,
win.
you legend. Yeah, like
Fucking
somebody found a
hero.
soft lock, and seemingly within a very short amount of time, we have updated the game to patch 1.2.1, and the soft lock is fixed.
Now imagine this was the 1990s or the 1980s, and you released the game with a soft lock, and then you're like,
Sorry, it's busted.
we
Need to print more discs.
will print the floppy disk with the patch and mail it to you. And anyone else who wants one, please write to this address and we will return with. We will mail it out to you. Also, the only way you can hear of this is if you read the magazine. I suppose if you're the late 90s, you would find it online, but you'll have to check the website, and God knows how you found websites in the late 90s.
Oh my god, currently. Okay, don't tab over yet.
I won't. Don't worry.
Yo!
Though I could.
We have 40 reviews and one of them is negative.
Nice.
So our negative proposal ratio is like fucking 39 to 1.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my god.
Very good.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Right now, Steam only registers 30 on the little, card for the game. It takes a while for reviews to propagate up there, but certainly that will be a, a very, very happy day for the team.
Yeah.
Wow.
How is it on Steam Deck? If anyone has tried, Jake, it's verified.
So it is verified. There are one or two issues with, I think there are some text boxes that slightly don't end up looking great. We will be doing some additional work to try to resolve that, though likely a next week thing.
Yeah. Question: is the Pale Beyond soundtrack streamer creator safe? I don't believe there's any reason it shouldn't be.
You should be free to go use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, look, if anyone gets like copyright claimed or any bullshit, it ain't us.
Yeah.
And I don't think we haven't submitted it to anything that would do that.
No.
What engine? Unity.
Yeah. You know when it's late. You know when it's late because you have a great idea for a joke and it just doesn't come together in time, and then you're really annoyed. So I was thinking maybe there's a really good joke in here about how we can't spoil the fact that we actually use like a licensed track in the middle of it. Something like, those really cringe movies that are like, here's a modern remake of an old classic, and it's something insane like, what was a weird one? There was a recent one that really sucked. I can't remember. My brain is actually fully turned off. But you know those like the Sucker Punch do one. Did Sucker Punch do one of those? Sucker Punch is ancient though. I feel like my brain's turned to dust. Crazy Train for Shadowlands. Yeah, that's a good example. Where it's like, it would have been nice if I had a joke prepared about how we actually have some insane song in the middle of it for effort, but we don't. Or do we? I don't know.
Man, I can't believe that. I forgot that Crazy Train Shadowlands advert happened. That was one of the more painful things that I've watched.
Yeah.
That was really bad. So,
Choo-choo.
as for where we are, do you have any other topics that you want to discuss regarding the world of Warcraft?
No, I have been, for reasons you might understand, I've been somewhat preoccupied this week.
So one thing I will say, if you do want some WoW content after this, we do have our Avalorn video.
Yeah,
this is Avalorn. People have
please
really
watch it. It's super
enjoyed
sick.
that. It seems to have been a video that has reignited people's passion and where the lore could go. So
Super sick.
Yeah, that would be nice. So yes, that's that for Avalorn. I guess then we can talk a little bit about the Pale Beyond.
Yeah.
The Pale Beyond has came out. Actually, funny enough, by the way, here's what our Patreon loot for this month is. We have got the creature, sort of bestiary, little cards from what Ethan is making. I mean, man, look at the February pin. Look at the February pin. Oh my god, it's fucking gorgeous. And we also have some Pale Beyond goodies. We have a lovely sticker sheet as well as a reversible art card.
Yeah, that looks really stark. We have one up downstairs sitting on the shelf, the blue one, or that side showing. It's really nice. Really nice. Captain.
So yes, we've got all of this. All of this, of course, by Tuesday, the 28th of February. It will be gone, which is next Tuesday, because it'll be the end of the month.
Indeed.
So yes, that's what's going on. Got some bonus loot there. And then, of course, to talk about the Pale Beyond, it's out!
Brave the Pale Beyond.
Yes.
You probably should. It's a good game. I may be somewhat biased, I will say.
But here's the thing,
full
Matt.
disclaimer, I'm biased.
Let's
but
go to
it's
our
also
objective
good.
sources.
Because reviews are objective and not just in. Reviews are not objective. However, reviews in aggregate are a lot of subjectivity, which at some point becomes close enough to objective.
Mm-hmm.
That is my thought in the process.
And we have a lot of content for you around this.
Yes, we have made many videos and other things.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so let's go then. Right, let's fucking go. Okay, there's the launch trailer, which I think, of course, many of you will have seen. As for to buying the editions, there is, of course, the game is on Steam, GOG, Epic, and Humble.
And Humble doesn't have the description.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
On its
So
embed,
that's where you can buy the game. The best place to buy the game, for our perspective, would be Steam, and that's because
good as hell.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. Like basically, whenever people buy stuff in Steam, it helps go up the Steam charts. It means that Steam will start to show the game to more people. So if you would want to purchase the game and also help the algorithm show it to more potential people, then purchasing in Steam would make sense. As for deluxe editions, there is the deluxe, the digital deluxe even.
That's some such good art. That color is very useful, nice.
Yeah, I love the album art. It's big, pretty. So of course, Digital Deluxe has the game. It has the 96-page digital art book, which actually we had a funny thing where we accidentally leaked the art book, and then it got a review.
Like Tears of the Kingdom,
something like that. Yeah, and we got a review of the leaked art book that was like, this is one of the best art books I've had in this such a long time.
Yeah,
they really did a great job in the art book, and the Digital Deluxe soundtrack with 51 track album that is going super deep. With a big old track list that, you know what, just in case there's any spoilers there, I will get rid of. There's also the base collector's edition, which has the game and the original soundtrack. You can also pick up separately the digital art book, which, we have many things talking about basically how all of these characters came together, some early ship designs, a whole bunch.
Oh, the ship changed so much over time.
Ship did have a big change, yeah. It was funny, they were at one stage playing Oberdin. To really just like get into my entire 3D processing has turned into what does a boat do and how does it move?
Yep.
Now for things, if you would like to enjoy a little ambient mix.
Yep. Which you've been listening to all night.
Yes, that's currently what's been playing on our stream, so you can check that out over in the Bellular Studios YouTube. To take a look at reviews then. So, many bugs and typos have since been fixed, thankfully.
There are still a number of typos and grammatical errors, but they'll be solved already next week.
Basically, anything that we could solve in a way that would be flagged by your setup in Visual Studio Code has been done. We've already started embarking on the, full fixing up pass.
Yep.
Look, it's unfortunate. It does happen when you have 300,000 words in a game. It's a lot of words.
Oh, Paul, that was very funny.
So, 4 things then. Over on Metacritic, we have 3 reviews are on Metacritic, 2 80s and a 90.
That's still not updated, you lazy... you busy people.
You busy people. So, Screen Rant, we got an 80 from Screen Rant. And again, talking about those... quirks, many of which have been solved. For a weaker game, dealing with even minor issues might be a deal breaker, but The Pale Beyond offers more than enough to overcome these quirks. The difficulty is well honed, forcing players to stay on their toes without verging on frustrating, and the unanswered questions that arise in the story remain engaging until the final revelations. Although the interpersonal component isn't dialed up to draw out tears, solid character writing makes tough choices and failures fall heavy. The expedition might encounter a few rough seas, but players willing to brave them can find a journey that's abundantly worthwhile. So I'll take abundantly worthwhile. We have, from Gaming Trend, The Pale Beyond is a masterclass in tone and atmosphere, informing gameplay. As Captain Robin Shaw, you'll need to make tough decisions constantly, but this stressful journey is well worth seeing through to the end.
Yep.
Hell yeah. God is a geek, which is certainly good to hear. The Pale Beyond is bleak and miserable in all the right ways, with a fantastic setting for a survival game. RPS, I was very, very happy to see that RPS enjoyed it. They're, again, one of the gaming sites that so many of us will have been reading for such a long time. Has the same inner workings as its survival sim counterparts, but its gripping tale of underdog sailors clawing at survival will fuel you to its thrilling end. Our review. We have got coverage from PC Gamer. Do you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to try to copy this and then embed this link. Actually, could you kick off this? I just don't want to accidentally open confidential publishery stuff.
In the
Oh yes, that was the article from Jody.
Yes, I will be able to have one additional review, which is not actually a review, and is literally, again, is just something people are saying in Discord.
Oh.
I might have to shout slightly for emphasis. Fuck! These choices are so hard. It's so well crafted. Man, I feel guilty if I pick X option, but the other option is logical. There you go.
No,
in comparison to someone said, I don't want no Julius Caesar moment. And then immediately said, LMAO, fuck, I lost 25 decorum. So there you go. There you go. It is fun to see people chat idly about a video game. It's very fun, especially when they're enjoying it. It's good. It's good. Oh, dear.
Fuck yeah. This was fun, actually. This is the first interview that we'd ever done
Yeah, get fired
with Jody. Yeah, you get fired up with Jody from PC Gamer. He's their weekend editor. And, he's a great interviewer. It was actually really fun doing an interview because basically me and Thomas just talked about history, which, that was the thing. There are, you could say, there are elements. I don't want to spoil, stuff that's kind of teased and hinted, but we wanted to be very sure that everything is grounded in a very, very authentic feel. To which, they went, oh, there you go. So he's playing the Pale Beyond. Good man, John.
Yeah, wait, he's playing. Does that mean did he rage quit?
So we got that. We got some coverage from Destructoid.
Yep.
What If Gaming, we got a review from them. It was great to hear Chris Schilling, who writes for Edge magazine, which, if you're in the UK, Edge and PC Gamer will have been the magazines that John exited to get the patch.
Nice.
Edge and PC Gamer are the magazines you would have picked up. So seeing him say it's one of his favorite games of 2023 is very fucking cool.
Which is kind of crazy because 2023 has been very short, but it's had some fucking absolute bangers so far.
Oh, John has said, I'm 7 hours. This train has no brakes.
Nice.
I cannot wait to see the statistics on how long it takes for people to beat the game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention that in one of the videos. I don't think I'd actually bothered saying it. This game is very, very, very theoretically...
My screen is unsafe.
Yes, very theoretically short. Unless you take time to make decisions. Then the game is very, very long. Because the density of decisions you have to make is completely unreasonable.
So
honestly,
one of the reviewers, she or he, I actually don't know who it was. It was one of the reviewers anyway. 30 hours.
One was it?
30
hours.
Oh,
you don't know which one? Okay. Yeah.
I just remember Thomas telling me that a reviewer. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it only took John 20 minutes.
Easy. Yeah,
that's because he sank the ship as soon as possible.
Oh, John managed to die pretty much as quickly as you can die, and there is an achievement for doing that. So well done, John. You got an achievement.
Full game over.
It's always fun when you can do that. I mean, come on, remember Far Cry 4?
No.
I don't
play Ubisoft games.
Nepalese Troy Baker.
Yep.
I think he was like, yes, just wait 20 minutes and we'll have dinner. And then if you just stand there for 20 minutes, he comes back into the room, you have dinner and the game's over.
Nice.
I just think it's really fun when you can do something like that.
That's
John got the special ending.
That's that's like most of the 26 endings in Nier Automata.
Ah, interesting.
Including things like, there's a big thing, fight it, and you just walk away. And it's like, oh, the game's over.
You just walk away from that at the start?
Yeah, you just walk away and be like, no. And then the game goes, here's a bit of prose about what actually happened then. And it's like, 2B and NS just fucked off and, lived out in the woods. And there's another one where you eat fish.
Really?
There's another one where you eat fish.
That's so much nicer as an ending.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the endings are, but I'll take that one.
It's nicer, that's for sure. But you can also eat fish and instantly die. That's a game over too.
You allergic to fish?
Robots can't eat mackerel. Kills them. That's an ending.
Of course, it is known.
Yep.
I'm just going to see where we are.
It's also one where you just decide to fish all day instead of doing anything else. And it's like a fishing ending. But yes. I don't know.
So I think we're probably...
unequip your brain. Yeah, that's a good one too. Where you just take a CP out of 2B and it's like, it's over. It's literally over.
Just unplugged.
Or you can blow up the moon base by using your self-destruct where you shouldn't. It's very, very good, very funny. Very good and very funny. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see what we're... Oh, Steam's updated our reviews. We are currently at 97% on Steam.
Nice.
That's fucking absurd.
Honestly, all day, I've just had gas playing in my head.
That's crazy, man. I wonder how many reviews we've got now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Save 10%.
11, 12,
Save
13,
10%,
14, 15. And I'm glad that a lot of these reviews are actually having played for, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Actually people who are playing the game.
Yeah, I was laughing at that where it's like, right, the game is out now, right? And then I thought about the time it came out, because it came out at It came out at 4 p.m. our time. Well, closer to 3:30. And I just thought, if people are pretty quick and don't make too many mistakes, or happy to have like a kind of scuffed ending, they could finish the game today.
So we, from our playtesting and stuff, we have been expecting 7 to 11 hours.
Yeah.
But there was that reviewer,
Yeah.
on playthrough number 3 at 30 hours of playtime. Because that's the thing, there are multiple endings, but also with all of our characters, they can live or die, and they will have different things actually happen. So there's a lot of content to see.
Yeah, it's not like there's a lot of different routes. It's just that there's a lot of tiny branches of content that you might have accidentally snipped off, or have snipped off intentionally based on what you're doing. You don't really know exactly how that works.
Because it's all the situation where we're going to be like, choose 500 different paths and have a full simulation. Where it's like, no, it is a narrative, but within, like, you have a goal. It's like, your broad goal is, okay, so we're stuck here. The rescue ship is going to be over there. We need to go from here to there. But within that, much different can happen. Characters. Every character can die in the game. Everyone.
Yeah, but the way I was laughing, that is like, and I'm sure this happens to anyone who ever makes anything. It's like, how long did it take to make that? Just a couple of years of a lot of people doing a lot of work. No big deal. How long did it take people to do it? Same day. Like, so, what? That's not sustainable. And then you realize why there's so many video games. Because it takes people thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to make a few hours of content. And you go, well, that's not very fair. But I was just like, oh yeah, people can just like have the whole game or have like the game finished. I'm like, that was good. I am done. Within a day, I'm like,
this is like what all the AI bros want to overcome.
Yeah, well, they're all stupid because content needs to have soul.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I was going to get into a whole big diatribe and I realized that's all I need to say, and everyone immediately agrees because I'm right.
Yeah, I was always happy with stuff for Bale because, like, fundamentally, I was like, yeah, this has soul.
Yeah.
There'll be bumps and shit, but this has soul. That's what it needed.
Yep. Indeed.
And I mean, obviously, I can't talk about anything coming next or anything like that. We literally have not worked that out yet. But I think the guiding light, the North Star, is things with soul.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that we're all interested in, that we all think we can get a lot of soul in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Beyond has soul. You heard it here first. Non-biased source.
It was just crazy to see, like, what the fuck? We have really good reviews? What?
Not a surprise.
Yeah, I know. It's.
I was going to say to you earlier, you might want to make sure and screw that in because it is about to go loose. And then I forgot.
Anyway, stuff's good.
Yeah, everything's good, and that is not.
Beyond's not the only thing that has bugs. Apparently, I do
too. Yeah. It's all very.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the thing that I'm happy about is ultimately, like you guys do know, it's also my job to help the game get sales. It is very good that I will be able to say, hey, everybody, so that game we made, it's got a 97 in Steam. It's pretty good. You'll almost certainly enjoy it. Which, is good. I think sales-wise, my screen is still not safe.
Yeah.
But I believe sales-wise, we're all very happy with the trajectory, and I think we're expecting good things, which is, obviously really good. Now, the way that we have the studio set up with its financial roadmap is we do have runway. Now, there will be like a gap of time where I think we will, just have to bridge cash flow or something like that. Mm-hmm. But we are feeling pretty okay, pretty safe. We have options going forward. I mean, obviously, nothing's a foregone conclusion, but like NI Screen has been an amazing partner, so bare minimum, we do know what projects we'll be pitching to them, where they basically support local game development by doing part financing in the form of recoupable loan for prototype development. So, obviously they, like, as an example, the way that the Pill Beyond started, it was 25 grand. I believe some of that was ours, some of that was theirs. That was enough for us to get a demo, and ultimately NI Screen was able to help us to basically keep the lights on, to make that demo, so that then we could take it to, you know, the BAFTA showcase and 2 Gamescoms, and then finally in the second Gamescom we had it at a state where you know, the team at Fellow Traveler felt comfortable going forward with things. So, you know, we basically have like vaguely locked in what seed funding would be. It's the sort of situation though where if Pale does really well, obviously, you know, you got to recoup. Because, you know, the budget comes from publishers, so you do have to recoup first, so it's probably going to be a while before, you know, anything major happens there. But we're all very happy with where those sales are going. And certainly it's that sort of thing where I think having one game that is very, you know, that is critically quite well regarded, that helps. You know, it means whenever we say go to another publisher or go to the same publisher or go to NI Screen or any of those things, we can say, hey, look, we did game's good. You know, you don't have to take a chance on somebody who's not sent a game out before. So to us, I guess that's just really key. And that, like, in a way, that was our main goal, right? It's like we've got to establish ourselves at a studio by making a really awesome game where there's, you know, there's heart and there's soul. It's something people can connect with.
You don't set out to make a bad game, do you? Like,
yeah,
what are we going to do? Make a load of shit easy?
Like the way that this game literally came from, and you'll see it in the documentary, which
it's live in the Bellular Studio channel right now. Go watch it.
Yeah,
Episode 1 of fucking 47 the time's done because they won't stop talking.
So I can actually go to that right now over on the Bellular Studios channel. So yeah, you can flip over. My screen is safe now. Over in the Studios channel. So there is a gameplay. Here's episode 1 of the documentary, and like to tease you, know, it's really well shot. Like Nikki has like done work that's ended up in the BBC. And, you know, like proper ass, you know, advertising clients and stuff. So, you know, him being able to come on board and actually properly film the documentary. There's Thomas, you know, in the background. We got Adam, we got Jess, we got Eric. Is that Katie? Maybe that's Katie. I think that's Katie. So, you know, there's a bunch of the team. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at this. Some early art from our old events. Some of these actually Ethan even did in pencil.
Wow, an artist drew in pencil.
Remember those big?
That's some new tech.
So whenever NI Screen actually part funded, you know, what we were doing, this is some of the very initial, you know, stuff that came out of it with a very, the funny fading system for them. But yeah, you know, the doc turned out really, really well. There's going to be more parts of it. And this channel here, Bellular Studios, I really see this as, you know, eventually this will be a third pillar of what we are doing, right? So this is somewhere the documentary series will be rolling out over like the next 2 weeks. We'll be making content about the Pale Beyond, about our experience getting the game out. And when we go and, you know, do future projects, now that we are larger as a team that can do like media stuff, like what we do in YouTube, the hope then is that honestly we'll be able to just do what we love on the news channel, do what we love on the Warcraft channel, you know, do well enough with our community to earn the patronage that will allow us to just kind of focus more on doing like purely just what we love, and to also expand doing a lot more content here in the Studios channel to, take you guys along for the ride. And whenever future projects are there, to also have a little bit of, you know, community involvement in the development process. So that's kind of, you know, big picture, how a lot of things are going. And yeah, Pale, I mean, look, man, it totally does open the door to a lot of that being possible, which is really cool. Everyone's excited. I think it's nice, you know, at the end of a game that's also being developed in what has been sort of a personal hell for a few people in the team. Not because of work, but just because, you know, just COVID and you're cooped up and, you know, life happens.
Life's hard, like.
It is nice that now at the other side of things, at the very least, you know, we all get a big happy Steam score, and you know we get people enjoying the game, which is ultimately what it's all about. And you know, maybe I'll be able to mount this in a way that will actually stay. I mean, out of our last 6 shows, I think this has fallen twice.
Yeah,
could even be 3. But you know, it's very off the cuff, right? It's like, hey, my point's so big I had to...
Yeah, it's exceedingly unprofessional.
What was he called, your man Armstrong? Senator Armstrong? Like, do you
Yes.
think Senator Armstrong is just going to, have perfect microphone dispersion? He's going to, buy the Pale Beyond.
Sure.
It's not a very good Senator Armstrong.
No.
And also, I'm definitely being a fake fan because I just know that it's Kino as fuck, but I haven't played the game yet.
It's called The Pale Beyond, Jack, and you'll never get past it!
The very least, I need to play fucking Revengeance in TB's name.
Yep.
Never got to it. Oh, man.
Just skip.
So I think that's kind of things drawing to an end
Yeah, it's
for
also it's nearly 12 o'clock. I'm about to fall out of my chair.
fun special show.
Yeah.
I guess just for where things are then, if you want to check out The Pale Beyond, it is on Steam. You can just find it by searching for it. I suppose there'll be a link down below.
It's linked in the, what do you call it, the pinned comment. The
Sweet.
pinned chat message. And also, you just type The Pale Beyond. It's in Steam.
Yeah,
and then you can also see all the good reviews as well.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. So that's what's up. The best way to help us is to buy the game on Steam, and of course to to leave your honest review. And with that, I suppose it's time to sign off and go. I'm going to go in there and say hello to Thomas and see how things are going because he's currently working on, I suppose, patch 1.2.2.
Yeah, and you'll see how far I've sank down in my chair over the past while.
Farewell, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. We'll have... Oh, yeah, before we should go, I should show them our new technology.
Oh, our new technology.
We have new technology. So I've slightly revamped some of how this stream is set up. So... look at this.
Whoa.
Look, we can look at each other and speak.
Yeah, hang on.
This perfect, yes.
Can I make the mics touch?
Perfect. There we go.
There, it's one microphone in our perfect professional setup.
Hello. Yeah, this is a new technology. I mean, this is literally just we've cut something out of our chain to make it simpler, so we can do this now. And there's also where's it at? Is it this? Yes.
Yeah.
So this?
Oh
Both
my
both
god!
of us we're both trapped in the box. Please, how do
Help!
I get out of here? Help
We're
me.
stuck.
God, we're fucking stupid.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, yeah. Good night, everybody. Yeah, go play Pale Beyond. Let us know how it's going for you.
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
actually, hang on. My screen isn't safe, but we do have a meme.
Oh, do we? Cool.
Yes, we have a good meme. We have a good meme. Yes, here it is. So, let me know if your week 14 morning is going as well as this guy's. Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. There you go. Pale Beyond's first meme.
Yeah. 4 decorum, 6 fuel, 17 food.
That's a fucking sticky position to get out of, man.
No, it's easy. All you have to do is kill all the people who don't agree with you to get the decorum back.
Well, see, that is the funny thing. The way that food works is, every week at default rations, it's 2 food per person. So if you get a bunch of your sailors killed, you will not need as much food.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game to play.
No, it's not. It's fine.
And also, you might care about the
It's
people
fine.
that you kill.
The Pale Beyond's completely safe.
Somebody said that one of the characters reminds them of Matt, which technically means that if you kill Mr. Gloss, you'll have killed Matt.
Mr. Gloss?
Apparently, you get to be Mr. Gloss.
What?
According to one Steam reviewer.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you're Mr. Gloss. So,
That's
if Mr.
unreasonable.
Gloss dies, then
See, not the fucking nerd. Oh, God.
he's the nerd.
Oh, shit.
You've been typecast as a nerd. I'm sorry.
Here
Matt, you co-host a weekly World of Warcraft podcast.
I was hoping someone would say...
You're a
I was
fucking
hoping they'd
nerd.
say Hammond. Damn it. Oh, well.
So there you go. You can kill Matt or let him live.
Yeah.
Either's good. Oh, dear. Okay. Good night, everybody. One
Yes.
at a time. I'm going to
Thanks
check
for
in
watching.
with Thomas and see how he's doing.
Yes,
I
good
suppose
night from Michael.
I sort of have to drop the microphone
Good
because
night from me.
it doesn't have a stand anymore.
Yeah, so thank you for watching, and
Goodbye.
good night.